Almost like
I'll
we were
explain.
trying to tell you that a couple of days ago.
Yeah, you didn't want to listen.
No, I kept telling you that's what Jordan Love is. I understand you want an edge, and there's definitely an edge in the fan base. Addition. Jesse has a really good idea, but it turns out he just stole it from Rich Eisen. Addition.
Okay.
But that doesn't make it any less of a good idea. But he has built the entire show around it, which feels like a risky proposition.
That's not going to happen. I'm going to promise you that won't happen.
We transition from the Super Bowl this past Sunday to outlook for the offseason. The scouting combine's right around the corner. So what's changing? Quarterback's coach changed, but it's a guy that's already held that job once before and was already in the building not once, not twice, but 3 different times on his 3rd go-round with the Packers edition of Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course everything you need on the amazing, incredible, customizable ESPN Wisconsin app, which you can find both in the Android and Apple app stores. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios, and from his undisclosed location, he is Mr. Annex Wealth Management. Can't wait for his webinar. Is that today or is that next Thursday?
Yeah, noon. It's at noon today.
Noon.
I was going to say I'll bounce out early, but our show ends at 11:55 usually, and then you guys go into Eisen, so I'll probably bounce after the 3rd segment. Because you know how this show goes.
Events.annexwealth.com.
Annexwealth.com. Jesse, I'm going to have you throw up a little tweet about 11:30, if you will.
We can share that for everybody. Sure, we can do that. The sequel webinar.
Yeah. Sequel's
not usually as good as the original.
No, this will be better. Now that I'm even more accustomed with Doc Jacobson, I think our chemistry is going to be that much better. So I feel really
find it interesting they're not promoting your existence on it.
They're not promoting your existence either.
Well, because I'm not on it. You are.
Maybe. No, you're perfect, Jason. I don't know what else to tell you. I got a couple of things. First off, R.I.P. What do you mean? Well, you're just so smug about that. I don't want to. It's a lot 11:15. I'm going to wait till 11:15. So here's kind of where I'm at today. I'm upset. I'm sad. We lost one of the old pioneers in the quarterback movie game, and I think I sent that to you guys. Part of my youth in Moxie. We lost Mox yesterday. We lost James Vanderbeek. At the same age, I saw, and this is always eye-opening to me, I don't know about to you, when you see 1977, boom, to 2026, it stings. Mox, I miss Mox already. I love that movie. I thought that was one of the best football movies / pop culture movies we've ever done. And now there's already 3 guys from that movie, and it's not even Bud Kilmer that has passed. It's Mox, it's Billy Bob, and whatever Paul Walker played. So we've lost 3 legends from I don't know if you watched that movie as a kid. I loved it. So I just wanted to say R.I.P. to Jonathan Mox, a.k.a. James Vanderbeek, who left 6 kids behind. It sucks. So I'm bummed. I'm a little on edge. I'm a little sad about losing Moxie yesterday.
James Vanderbeek, also a noted Packers fan.
Matter of fact, Jason came up here with Justin Timberlake, the infamous story, Cliffy. Mm-hmm. Let's go meet up with the boys before the game. And I said, no, I don't think that's probably a great idea. But they ended up tailgating with all of our wives and girlfriends at the time. So they ended up tailgating, and there's pictures of Justin Timberlake, and I think his wife now, Jessica Biel, I believe she was his girlfriend at the time, and I don't know if Vanderbeek brought someone with, but they were back in the old days with the parking lot right there where everybody could see. And those cats are shotgunning beers and having the time of their lives at a Packer. I don't remember what. Wasn't a playoff game, but it was later in the season. And so there's pictures. I think Sarah's got pictures with Vanderbeek and Timberlake. It was, and to everybody, Timberlake obviously was a monster star. But everybody, my older brother was there. They all said the same thing. Man, is Vanderbeek a good dude? Mm-hmm. And they all thought, because they were throwing the football around, they felt like not that he could play quarterback in the NFL, but he was a legit quarterback too, and that showcased itself in the movie Varsity Blues.
James Vanderbeek passed away at the age of 48 from colorectal cancer, which he had been battling for a year. I think this is a good time to emphasize again the importance of being checked on that. And the previous, you didn't have to have the disgusting cocktail that you have to drink to clear you out and everything else for your exam. It used to be age 50. Don't wait that long. I did it a couple of years ago after Rob Andringa, who I would argue when it comes to Badger hockey was like the Howard Moore, who we've talked a lot about over the last couple of weeks in terms of being friends with everyone, and you felt like, he was one of my best friends. Yeah, he made like literally thousands of people feel that way. That's how Rob Andringa was. And, I saw his son was the coach of the year in hockey at Monona Grove, I believe. But there's a guy that I wish he was still around. I learned so much hockey from him when I covered the Badgers early in my career. And so that is a insidious disease. And whether you're getting Cologuard checked or you're going to your doctor, I'm not trying to be preachy here. I'm serious, because James Vanderbeek's family would love to have him with his 6 kids. And it is a terrible thing to see him pass away yesterday. I was struck by it as well. I am not as big of a fan of Varsity Blues as you are. I did watch Dawson's Creek, though. And also the fact that he was a Packers fan. He was at the Super Bowl when you guys won. I remember talking to him. Like, he was a true Packers fan. So there's that connection as well. All right, so that was one thing that was on your mind. You said you had a few things.
Do we think who would you say is a better movie quarterback?
Keanu Reeves
Than the Mox? No.
He played it.
Keanu Reeves can't make the. He can't make the throws that
he's
Mox
left-handed.
made.
I think you're looking at him, as a Jim Zorn type. But, not only the replacements, but let's not forget.
Mox is Matt Flynn. By the way, Matt Flynn was called Mox. Like, there was a lot of connectivity to but until Malik Willis came around, I would say in the 2000 era, Matt Flynn, because he played more, I'd put a notch above Haas as far as the backup quarterback in Green Bay. Haas was a great quarterback for Seattle. But as a backup in Green Bay, Flinney probably made the biggest impact as a backup outside. Now Malik Willis probably has stepped into that breach. But Moxie kind of had the same type of game as Flynn.
Well, he had a lot of moxie. Literally.
I don't know who else you even put in that. What's his face? The old Florida State guy from Longest Yard, Burt Reynolds. I don't know how good of a QB he was in the movies.
What about Sunshine in Remember the Titans?
Nah, they were more of a run the football team.
Well, when he took over, when Rev got hurt, I thought they threw the ball a lot more. But come on, you can't the level of dismissiveness about Keanu Reeves, who not only
I didn't think he was that good of a quarterback. That movie was stolen by the coach. This guy, they uprose against the legendary Bud Kilmer and told the coach to leave, and then they went out and won a championship with Paul Walker and Mox as the pseudo-coach quarterback combo. I don't see any of these other guys doing that. Like Al Pacino gave one of the great speeches in movie history, but that doesn't mean Jim Zorn, a la Keanu Reeves, is a better thrower of the football
Right,
than
but
Mox.
I think you're forgetting that Johnny Utah also defeated USC in the Rose Bowl before he went to law school and then became an FBI agent in Point Break and an elite level surfer while catching the bad guys.
What does that have to do with playing quarterback, though?
Because he was a college
He's
quarterback
Todd
who won
Marinovich.
the Rose
Multifaceted.
Bowl.
He literally is Todd Marinovich. Like Keanu Reeves is Todd Marinovich.
Well, plus he plays some beach football where he tackles Patrick Swayze into the turf.
I don't know. If you start looking at the way he delivered the football, the leadership that Mox had, and making sure the tailback got the right touches, and the fact that he stood up to Bud when he could have lost his Scott. Like, I just think that you put the total package. And am I being a little prisoner of the moment here? Maybe a little bit. But I'm going to crown Jonathan Moxon a la James Vanderbeek as the best movie quarterback that we for sure backup quarterback. There ain't no doubt about that.
Well,
But I think just as a quarterback in the movies, because I can't really think of that many other ones.
I have in front of me the official NFL.com rankings of the greatest movie quarterbacks.
Ooh, let's hear it.
They ranked 23 of them. So I don't know how many of these we should even go through. And there's multiple guys from The Longest Yard. I would also argue that Johnny Moxon being 17th on their list will probably
that's
disqualify this list in your estimation.
All right, give me the top 5. I'm not interested. Give me the top 5.
You know what? I'll speed through. Since Johnny Moxon is 17th, narrowly edging out Brendan Fraser's David Green from the film School Ties. I am going to start with Johnny Moxon at 17. And I'll go quickly till we get to the top 5.
Okay.
Number 16, Paul Walker as Lance Harbor in Varsity Blues. Number 15, Kurt Russell as Reno Hightower in The Best of Times. Number 14, The Rock as Joe Kingman in The Game Plan. Number 13, Warren Beatty as Joe Pendleton in Heaven Can Wait. 12B, which I don't even know how that's supposed to work, Adam Sandler as Paul Crewe in the later Longest Yard. 12A, Burt Reynolds as Paul Crewe in the initial Longest Yard. Any Given Sunday, Jamie Foxx as Willie Beeman comes in at 11th, while Cap Rooney, as portrayed by Dennis Quaid in Any Given Sunday, is 10th. 9th, Frank Cushman, as played by Jerry O'Connell in Jerry Maguire. That I have a problem with because they show him throwing the football, and he is horrible. Like, he's slightly better than the dude in Napoleon Dynamite. Which, by the way, that guy's number 23. So take this list for what it's worth.
Uncle Rico.
Number 9, Jimmy Dix, played by Damon Wayans in The Last Boy Scout, which is an underrated
Very good movie,
in my opinion.
Very good movie. I agree.
Number 7, Paul Blake, as portrayed by Scott Bakula in Necessary Roughness.
That's a Kathy Ireland movie. That's not a Paul Bakula
It's a Kathy Ireland movie. Number 6, from Revenge of the Nerds, Ted McGinley as Stan Gable.
That's crazy. Come on.
Number 5, The Program. Was that?
Great movie.
Craig
Great
Sheffer as Joe Kane.
Joe Kane is in the mix here. Joe Kane deserves to be top 5.
Now, number 4, Shane Falco, as portrayed by Keanu Reeves in The Replacements.
They're in the mix. I'm not going to totally poo-poo Keanu.
Number 3, Mac Davis portraying Seth Maxwell in North Dallas 40. That I've never seen that movie. That's an old movie with Nick Nolte. That is even before my time. Number 2, Keanu Reeves checks in again as Johnny Utah from Point Break.
Okay.
And the number 1 quarterback in movie history, according to NFL.com, the former New York Jets quarterback who then becomes a superhero, Sam Jones, as the title character in Flash Gordon.
No, you got the program dude, you got Keanu, and you got Mox. Those are your top 3. You
Sunshine
can sort it that way.
Ronnie Bass did not even make the top 20, it would appear. So,
yeah, they were more of an option group. So,
okay.
anyways, to put a bow on it, great movie. Big Vanderbeek fan. Super bummed on the news. I didn't even know. I knew he had I knew he had had cancer, but I didn't know to what degree. And then I went down the rabbit hole of watching some videos about him talking about life and mortality and everything else. And it's pretty powerful stuff if anybody is intrigued to go take a look at that. So it's just a bummer. And I wanted to make sure we honored Moxie today with his rightful place in the top 3 of all-time movie quarterbacks.
The Ringer has him at 6 on their list. They also did.
That's more like it. That's more like it.
Yep. I don't have a conversational segue from this very heavy topic, so we segue to Gina Della and the importance of having good windows.
Absolutely. Our homes need to be ready for just about anything in the state of Wisconsin. Just take a look at the month of January. Cold, warm, freezing. That's why Pella focuses on quality and durability in everything that they do, and we're almost there. Pella at the Nare Spring Home Improvement Show, February 13th through the 15th at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Fellas, you guys listening today, you don't know. I don't even know what I'm going to do with Valentine's Day yet. Do I want to go get $300 flowers? Do I want to take care of my family? And do I want to save money on our energy bills? And do I want to go to one of the most romantic places on earth, and that is Wisconsin State Fair Park at the Nare Spring Home Improvement Show? That's the right answer, because if you book an in-home consultation at that show, you'll receive a free Design Works rendering, and you'll also get 0 financing for up to 4 years. So you can get, think of the money you'll spend, chocolates and jewelry and all the stuff that everybody else does. Do something different. Head over to the Nare Spring Home Improvement Show. Again, that's Feb 13 through the 15th, booth 420. And don't miss out on that 0% financing for up to 4 years. It ends the end of February. Visit PellaWI.com today to learn more.
I continue to go down the rabbit hole of fictional movie quarterbacks. There's a lot of people that have listed, power ranked, if you will, the different quarterbacks in Hollywood. R.I.P. to James Vanderbeek, more importantly than anything else. All right, we will shift gears, and we will get to Jesse's brilliant idea that he stole from Rich Eisen. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
A Road at Night is a documentary chronicling former Badgers player and coach Howard Moore and the 2019 tragedy that forever changed his family. You can see it on the big screen at Marcus Point Cinema in Madison, February 13th through the 19th, with exclusive post-screening panels during the opening weekend. A Road at Night, February 13th through 19th at Marcus Point Cinema in Madison. All proceeds support Howard Moore's ongoing care. Find showtimes and get tickets right now at aroadatnight.com.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is teeing up the 3rd tournament of the season with another can't-miss event and $1,000 in cash prizes up for grabs. Hey ESPN Milwaukee, this is Gary Ellison, inviting you to a 2-man scramble at the iconic TPC Scottsdale, all played on Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center's spacious state-of-the-art simulator. Sign up now at wisconsindoorgolfcenter.com. It's just $120 per team, and teams must get their round in by February 28th. Your chance to take on TPC Scottsdale starts today at Wisconsin Indoor Golf StandardGolfCenter.com.
Come grow with us at Glenroy. For more than 6 decades, our family-owned company has built its reputation on quality, reliability, and providing strong career opportunities in our community. As the packaging industry rapidly grows, so does Glenroy. Here, you'll find competitive wages, a clean, modern workspace, fully vested 401k, yearly bonus award, and the chance to build a manufacturing career with purpose. Apply today at glenroy.com/careers. That's GLENROY.com/careers.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. If 2025 didn't go exactly as planned, you're not alone. You made it through, and that's what counts. Now it's time for taxes, and for a lot of people, that's when the stress kicks in, especially if things got messy along the way. The good news? A rough year doesn't mean a ruined future. We helped Nate fix a tax mess with the IRS created by one of those national firms and saved him $103,000 in penalties, plus another $150,000 in taxes, because we know the tax law. Imagine walking into tax season with a plan, clarity, and someone in your corner who knows the tax law and knows how to use it. You earned it. We help you keep it. Call us now at 414-325-2040 to arrange a meeting to see how we can help you. Don't wait. Call now. That's 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
Selling your home during winter may surprise you. Serious buyers are still out there and often more eager to move.
Homes get strong offers this time of year, and with less competition, your listing can really shine.
I'm Tony Wendorf with Tony Wendorf & Associates, powered by Keller Williams.
And I'm Lindsay Bendler. Our team leads with faith, gratitude, and giving back, donating over $200,000 to local causes since 2020.
Tony Wendorf & Associates is ready to get to work for you with our white glove selling experience. Just search online, Tony Wendorf.
A real estate team that always leads with faith and gratitude.
Tony Wendorf & Associates.
Buying a new roof might not be the most exciting thing you'll do this year, but for us at Big Fish Contracting, being chosen to do that roof for you not only provides income for multiple families in southeastern Wisconsin, but has a global reach and impact around the world. To us, it's more than just a roof. We've been earning trust for over 2 decades, roofing, siding, windows, and more. Go to bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
Grab the dial and crank it up, baby, because Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee is spinning its Winning Hits collection. Over the next 3 months, you could win a share of over $1 million in prizes. On top of thousands in cash and reward play, you could win one of 3 new Ford vehicles in the grand finale drawings on March 27th. Just play with your rewards card to earn entries. Press play on the Winning Hits collection, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
All right, Jesse, fill us in on this great idea if you're done arguing with Josh DiMaggio in our text chain.
If I may, Jason, before Jesse gets to his Rich Eisen stolen show idea. I look through comments occasionally on Twitter. I am not on Facebook. I'm very limited with Instagram. I can't figure out the YouTube chat. But there's times where, people will say mean things, and I'm okay with it. And then there's times people will just say misrepresentative things, and I'm not okay with that. And when I mentioned being clipped, I understand your frustration sometimes. I understand that this is the nature of the business. But I said something on when I got clipped about 8 times on, I don't remember if it was Tuesday or Monday, about John Schneider and what he was able to do with the Seattle Seahawks roster and how it was all built. And some J-Wag, and I'm not even going to give him the love because I think I'm done. I don't even want to see his stuff anymore. He put something out on basically saying I was misinformed and I'm spreading blah, 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 which is total you-know-what. So I took a beat, went and grabbed a coffee. I thought I would just address it. When I said that, Schneider it didn't even go all in, but his decisions, especially at the trade deadline and moving on from the quarterback spot, from Gino, I was very specific and said John Schneider wanted Gino back. He wanted DK Metcalf back at his price, not at their price. I was very clear about that. And that there's also some luck that is involved where you set your standard. And by the way, if you really want a player on your football team, you are going to pay them what they in a reasonable fashion. You're going to keep that player. And had the Seattle Seahawks kept Geno Smith and Geno would have accepted the offer Schneider put on the table, which he did, they're not winning the Super Bowl. Period. And in DK Metcalf's point, he obviously looked at JSN and said, I can't pay DK and JSN. I believe more in JSN, so we're going to trade DK Metcalf. That doesn't mean he didn't want him on the team, but he wanted him at their price. And those are the decisions that they made, and why I said that John Schneider has done a much better job than Goody, because the results indicate that's the case. So I just wanted to clear that up because there's some, you're spreading bull. I'm not. And I wanted to be crystal blanking clear on what my point was, that you have to make these decisions. And it's not, we're going all in, we're keeping this guy. Well, we're keeping him if the price is right. There are certain players that you do. And I would guess that JSN from Seattle will be one of those guys. I'm sure there's others on that team. But Schneider at his parade yesterday looked like he was having a hell of a time celebrating their championship in downtown Seattle yesterday.
He does know how to celebrate.
He knows how to have a good time. And he had a heck of a time, and they deserved it because he pulled all the right levers to put together a championship team. And some of that was luck in the fact that Geno didn't accept the contract that they offered. Trade him, get picks, traded Russell when they needed to, and then they got Sam Darnold, and obviously he helped lead them to a championship.
Okay. I guess I did not see this critique of your spreading misinformation.
It's one thing if you say, hey, you're an idiot, I disagree. That's fine. I don't have any problem with you just saying you disagree or I was off base. But when you start saying, like, ignorant, idiotic things, I'm not going to respond to you. I'm going to put it on the show, and I'm done with you. And that's where I'm at, because it was just ridiculous. That is not – now, there's always context with clips. Both of us know that very well. And in this case, I just wanted to make sure I was very clear about where my head was at with that. And the fact that Seattle has done a much better job from an organizational standpoint of building championship teams because they've gotten more championships. This isn't a hard equation to figure out.
So how do you view the Russell Wilson trade when in real time when it happens there's some risk there, right? Not to the degree of what the risk would have been for Goody to trade Rodgers, right? No. Which, by the way, the timeline would have been Rodgers was pissed off going into the 2021 season, and he wins his 4th MVP that year, and they end up being the number 1 seed. So if they trade him at that point, that we're talking about a pretty big, gutsy move.
Oh, yeah. And Jordan Love not even close to being ready to play.
Correct. So, meanwhile, when we look at where Russell Wilson was, still bold, right, to trade a guy who won a Super Bowl and everything else, but it was pretty clear the wheels were starting to come off the wagon. So, how much credit do you give him for doing that? Because it still takes guts to do it.
A ton, because, A, he won a championship for you, should have won 2. He was the leader of your football team. They had moved on from the Legion of Boom, but you just got the sense that he knew it was time. And when Russell was pushing for another new contract that Denver gave him, I think John Schneider looked at it just like he did with Geno Smith and like he did with the Metcalf. It was a decision that he felt like he stuck to his convictions, and he's been wrong too. We act like he's been perfect. The Percy Harvin trade, it was crazy bad, but in the same respect, he
helped them win a Super Bowl.
Returned a kick for a touchdown. Yeah, returned a kick for a touchdown, but the overall trade was a terrible trade. He also traded for Jamal Adams and gave up first-round picks. Terrible trade. Overcame it. So the Russell Wilson trade, I said at the time Denver's going to regret that. That was a great move by Seattle, even though they were going to have to go through a little bit of a learning curve and a growth. But I'm also probably biased against Russell Wilson, so that probably isn't as fair of a analysis. But that part of this job, I think, is super underappreciated. And because Goody, we always just, the default setting is third contract, they're gone. That's not the case with a lot of other GMs. And sometimes you're wrong. A la Davante Adams, you could say, you know what, Goody was wrong. In this case, John Schneider pulled the right levers, let go of two of his, you're talking about the star wideout and the star quarterback, and you get rid of both via trade, and you end up winning a world championship? Doesn't happen very often. And he deserves a ton of credit for being able to do that at the right time and replacing and building a roster that was good enough to win with Sam Darnold as their quarterback.
And again, the point that you made, which I think is a really important one, is that they built a team where he didn't have to be great all the time, but he was great when they needed him to be to get to a Super Bowl. And, I'm not sure, when you look back on his Vikings year, I mean, Sam Darnold was really good for the Vikings until he wasn't, right? Which was in the regular season finale with the number 1 seed on the line, and then in their first playoff game. And so when I look at what he did there, they kind of needed him to be great. Minnesota did with the weapons they had, right? You want to get Justin Jefferson the ball and everything else. Like it wasn't like they had Aaron Jones who ran for 1,100 yards that season. But the bottom line is the Seahawks did not need Sam Darnold to put them on his back all the time. But he did it against the Rams.
He had plenty of games that it didn't work out, but Schneider pulled all the right levers. And, again, I think we're always so focused on who you're bringing in. You also need to focus on who you're letting go and why you're letting go and how you replace who you let go of. And I think that part of it is I think we always look at it like, we got to re-sign this guy. We got to, Quay Walker, we got to bring him back. I don't know how that's going to all end up shaking out.
Yeah.
But you have to be very diligent and thoughtful about your approach and then stick to it. Schneider did that. And how was he rewarded? By having a hell of a day in downtown Seattle with another Super Bowl championship in his coffers.
Sam Darnold in his season in Minnesota threw for 4,300 yards with 35 touchdowns and 12 picks for a passer rating of 102.5. This past season, when he led them to a Super Bowl title, 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, 14 picks. Passer rating of 99.1. So he did not have to carry them to win the Super Bowl. All right, Jesse's very excited about this idea he stole from Eisen. So we will get to that coming up after I tell you about something that I'm always excited about, and that is Associated Bank. They've been with us from the beginning, and when it comes to banking and customer service, they're the best, the absolute best. They've got the awards to prove it, whether it's early pay, whether it's credit monitoring, whether it's fraud protection, or whether it's being able to show your fan colors with Packers, Brewers, or Badgers checking. Associated Bank's got your back. And you know what they always say? It's not branches that make a bank local, it's roots. And their roots are deep in Green Bay and in the state of Wisconsin. So go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. We'll get to Jesse's plagiarism next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Big news from Carbless, a fan favorite and one of my favorites. Blood Orange flavor is now its own dedicated 4-pack, crafted with real spirits for a true cocktail taste. Blood Orange brings bold, citrus-forward flavor with a smooth, premium finish. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, only 100 calories, and gluten-free. Now it's even easier to stock up on the flavor everyone keeps asking for. Look for Carbless Blood Orange 4-pack at your local retailer now. Once you try it, you'll understand why Blood Orange has earned its own pack. Carbless, bold flavor in every sip. Find it near you at drinkcarbless.com.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
This President's Day, stand up for comfort and real savings at Steinhoffel's. Celebrate with big deals store-wide. Get $50 off every $4.99 you spend. Save on sofas, sectionals, dining, bedrooms, and mattresses, plus amazing doorbusters. Make your dream room more affordable with no interest financing until 2031 when you spend $19.99 or more. Plus, get a $200 MasterCard. Hurry, shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com.
At Saturn Lounge, we know. If your marketing actually worked, you would know. Your website would perform. Your storytelling would inspire. Your campaigns would deliver leads that become sales. You wouldn't need a report to tell you. Visit SaturnLounge.com today. When marketing works, it shows.
Ben Brust here for the Princeton Club. If you're looking for your better tomorrow, you know where to go. It's the Princeton Club. If you're looking to grow, it's also the Princeton Club, because they will cheer for you in all areas of your life. The best way to do that is to start a foundation of having a healthy body, and your growth will start from there. With the cleanest health clubs in Wisconsin, they provide everything for you to reach your goals. Start your better tomorrow today and grow in all areas of your life at the Princeton Club. Join for a better tomorrow.
Wisconsin is still cattle country, and that's why Bunzel's chose to stay close to home to hand select the finest beef. Quality goes into everything they do, from Bunzel's expansive array of meats, homemade specialty sausages, and their award-winning beef jerky. It just isn't a proper holiday meal without Bunzel's top quality cuts on the dinner table. Tasting is believing. Visit Bunzel's at 90th and Burleigh or bunzels.com.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
February means big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Upgrade your home with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, new siding, or a beautiful bath makeover, and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings, but only for a limited time during our February winter savings event. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com now. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Jesse, I feel bad because you, in between WIAC Wednesday responsibilities, you were very excited when you brought this idea to us in our group chat. And now here we are at 9:41. Which,
How was
by
the
the
trip,
way,
Jesse? Anything fun on your big trip? I saw your video was dynamic last night.
We had a lot of fun last night. Great game, by the way. UW Stout, UW Lacrosse, 90-80. A lot of points scored. Kind of came down to the last minute. A little separation at the end, but it was close throughout, back and forth. Menominee, first time ever in Menominee, the home city to UW Stout. Very nice little community up there, Menominee. A lot of fun. And home to, along with Eau Claire, this is the video that I posted, the largest sculpture tour. I was going to say statue. Largest sculpture tour in the United States. And so all around Menominee, you can go find all these different sculptures. And so that's what I did last night before the game. I found a few of the sculptures. I thought that was kind of fun. So nice trip up to Menominee last night. Not a lot of sleep, but we're good. But I did listen to the Rich Eisen show on the way up. And it wasn't actually even the Rich Eisen show's idea to do this topic. It was a fan who called into the Rich Eisen show and presented the question to those guys. The question that was presented to Rich Eisen, which we will put a twist on in a minute, the question was, what was the most delightful surprise and what was the biggest disappointment of the 2025 NFL season now that it's in the books?
What did Rich Eisen say?
Sam Darnold's got to be the most delightful surprise, probably, right?
So Sam Darnold was mentioned. The Jacksonville Jaguars were mentioned.
Yeah. Liam Cohen.
One of the supporting cast members of the Rich Eisen show is a Bears fan. He said Caleb Williams was a delightful surprise.
I think you could bet Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams could be in there. Yeah.
I don't think we should use the word delightful in any way, shape, or form with Ben Johnson.
Obviously, yeah.
Well,
that's a
if
Bears
you're looking
fan
at it
saying
from
that,
a holistic national perspective, I think most national sports fans would look at the Bears and how they came back and won games and obviously gutted us. Was a big surprise and a pleasant surprise for people that don't like the Green Bay Packers.
He's just not delightful.
And the New England Patriots and Mike Vrabel have to be at the top of that list too.
Yeah.
Right? For as far as disappointment goes, I think there's two or three. I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I think you look at Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, the way they fell apart. Even before he blew his knee out, that thing was done. Those would be at the top of my list as far as the disappointing angles of where those teams ended up finishing.
How about the Super Bowl as a big disappointment? I was pretty underwhelmed.
I mean, it was like
lackluster.
What were you underwhelmed about? It was a football game.
It was a
wasn't
boring, one-sided game. I didn't think the commercials were that good.
19-7. They cut it to 19-7.
It wasn't.
Fourth quarter.
You know, it wasn't really that close. Seattle dominated that game. It was one-sided from the jump.
God, I heard you say that exact same thing in 2014. I heard you say that.
Yeah,
Green Bay dominated that game. It was 19-7.
You heard Jesse say that?
I don't think I had a platform to say it at that point.
You guys go way back.
I bet you were thinking it. I guarantee you this.
You're right.
There are a lot of Packer fans booking tickets and thinking that.
I wasn't
when
bored.
That was going on.
I can tell you I wasn't bored when it was 19-7 in 2014. So that was the question that was framed for the Rich Eisen show, and I heard that, and I thought, oh, that's pretty interesting. It was a good conversation that those guys had about big picture national football, and I thought, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
We have a...
Wait a minute. I produce a show when I'm not at React Wednesdays and taking Thursdays off.
We have a football-oriented radio show that we do on a daily basis. And I want to ask you, and maybe we can ask our fans if you guys are willing to take calls on a Thursday.
Take calls, yes.
Individual players, because, of course, storyline-wise, I think, game result-wise, we all know what the biggest disappointments were. But individual players for the 2025 Green Bay Packers, who was the most delightful surprise and who was the biggest disappointment of the season?
Easy. Both of those are easy for me. Very easy.
Well, I'm very eager to hear this because those were because I spent time thinking about this last night after you texted this, Jesse. And I had a really hard time, especially with the delightful surprise.
No, there's an easy one.
Tell us.
There's an easy one.
Tell us.
Well, I'll tell you after the break. I'm not going to tell you right now, but let's line up some calls. I want to hear what our fans think, and I'll tell you after I tell you about this beautiful webinar that is coming up. in 2 hours and 14 minutes, if my math is correct, right? You know what? We're all making these New Year's resolutions. We're trying to figure out how to handle cash and how to handle money and how to handle our investments. And we're going to help you today. Me and Doc Jacobson doing a webinar, events.annexwealth.com. Again, that is right at noon, right after the show. We're going to talk a lot. There's a lot of stuff. There's a big bill that was passed last year, and a lot of people asking a lot of questions, especially tax-related. There's a lot of changes that happened throughout the course of this new year. Make sure you're caught up. Make sure you're taking advantage of that with your investments. You need to talk to experts. I have a lot of questions for Doc and for the other experts at Annex Wealth Management. They're going to help you. They're going to listen. And they're going to talk you through your goals so that you maximize your investments and you maximize all of the things in some of this new legislation that passed that will help you continue to grow your wealth. Again, that's at noon, events.annexwealth.com. Me, which is not listed on there, and, of course, Dr. Jacobson, who is listed everywhere, pictures and everything else, but we'll be doing that. Again, events.annexwealth.com.
The most delightful surprise of the Packers 2025 season and the biggest disappointment. Tausch says both of those are obvious. I'm hoping that after he says them, I'm like, oh, you're right. Because I had a hard time coming up with the delightful surprise. I really did. I thought about it a lot. And the one that I came up with, I don't even feel that great about. Because ultimately, it didn't really affect the way the season turned out. So
mine did, mine will, and I think you're going to be like, oh, I should have thought of that.
Well, we'll find out together next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. All the antics.
We had the same situation when I played with Holmgren.
You okay?
I almost broke my chair.
Yeah, you almost fell out of your chair there.
All the action.
Micah Parsons is healthy, and if Tucker Kraft is healthy, the Packers are in that Super Bowl. I think that they would have run through the NFC. I think they beat Seattle.
I think that they are the NFC representative in that game.
The best of both worlds lives right here. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
It all started with a small storefront and a big promise. Treat every customer just like family. For decades, local families have trusted Sendix to provide the freshest food, the warmest smiles, and a place where community comes first. From generation to generation, we have grown together. Because Sendix is more than just a grocery store. It's home. Thank you for allowing us to serve you for the past 100 years. Here's to the next 100 years. Sendix, your trusted local grocer.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Did you forget the first day of school is this week and little Nancy still needs her name embroidered on her backpack? Or the company shirts are due now, not next week? Maybe the boss just declared Steve's retirement party is today and the shirts are mandatory? Whatever the rush. Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more in Mequon has got you covered with fast turnarounds, no minimums, eco-friendly printing, and high-quality custom apparel. Big Frog brings your custom ideas to life fast. Stop by Big Frog in Mequon or visit bigfrog.com/Mequon. Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more, where your ideas leap to life.
Tax refund season is here, but at Cunis, you don't need your tax refund to get a great ride. Right now, during the Cunis Keep Your Refund event, you don't have to spend your tax refund to drive something you'll love. Why? Because Cunis has added a huge selection of over 1,200 affordable pre-owned vehicles available right now across 3 Milwaukee area locations. That's Oak Creek Buick GMC, Greenfield Buick GMC, and Hope Chevrolet. Cars, trucks, and SUVs, all makes and models, and all priced to fit your budget, so you can hang on to your refund for the things that matter most. Pay down bills, take a trip, start a project, spend your refund how you want. With over 1,200 affordable vehicles, chances are the perfect one is waiting for you without touching your tax refund. Shop Cunis Oak Creek Buick GMC, Greenfield Buick GMC, and Hope Chevrolet today. The Keep Your Refund event, only at Cunis. Start your search at CunisMKE.com.
It's a great time to win the ultimate Valentine's Day prize, courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist. To register, go to welkesdatenight.com or the ESPN Wisconsin app and click on the contest page for your chance to win a bouquet of flowers, candles, chocolates, rose petals, a $100 gift card to Bartolotta restaurants. You can also win a Milwaukee basketball game where they take on Toronto on February 22nd. Register to win this Valentine's Day, courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist through February 12th. Go to welkesdatenight.com or the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Experience hot gaming action and a relaxing spa day. Your perfect winter getaway at the island. Book a stay and float package to get both a standard room and a rejuvenating 60-minute float pod therapy session for less than $100. Complement your stay with an elevated dining experience at Horizon Steakhouse and fun on the gaming floor where big wins wait for you. The Island Resort and Casino's stay and float package runs through February. Call 800-682-6040 to book yours today. Certain days and restrictions apply.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Four 770-3776.
Hey, I'm going to make a request, too. Jesse, wipe that. That's over. I don't want to see that anymore. Bears beating the Packers on their way to get beat by L.A., and then the Seahawks. I'm done with it.
We're retiring the playoff bracket. We're done with it.
Yeah, it's over.
All right.
Done with it.
Goodbye, playoff bracket. You will be missed.
Yeah. It was fun while it was lasted, but it's over. Let's move it along.
844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless talk and text line. Less is more. What is the most delightful surprise? Are we doing player or like moments?
No, players.
You can do whatever you want.
Moments is going to be way too similar. Everyone's going to have the same answer.
Better make sure Tausch knows that it's player.
Yeah.
What is? Just wait a second.
Uh-oh.
I asked a couple weeks ago what the biggest moment of this last Packers season was, and almost everybody said Mark Murphy hosting the draft, picking Matthew Golden.
No, trading.
Micah Parsons.
The most pleasant surprise of the season? I'm fine if you want to pick a moment, too. I don't think there's a ton of moments that are that pleasant. So, yeah, go at it if that's what you want, but that ain't where I'm headed. Jesse, I didn't even see this on our text string last night. This is so easy. I don't know what we're thinking. What happened earlier than, not that I predicted, but that a lot of people thought? Who came in and made a monster impact, even though some on this panel said he's just a guy? Who had a awesome second half of the season and is talked about getting a new contract already after signing a little baby contract? Next, the most pleasant surprise, Christian Watson blows his knee out at the end of last season, and he's back balling before Halloween? And y'all aren't saying that is the most pleasant surprise of this season, and he stayed healthy, and he was awesome, and he is now the no blank number one wideout for this football team? 6 tutters, all the yards in a limited amount of time, and taking the top off of defenses and – like, what are we doing here? There's nobody close, especially when you factor in what happened. The most delightful surprise was that Christian Watson got back earlier and played better than we could have ever anticipated. A guy coming off of an ACL. That's a no-brainer to me.
It was undeniably delightful. It's great. Love it. I guess I wasn't maybe he was better than I expected him to be right away.
You thought he was coming back before Christmas. You had him in December coming back.
But no, I think I said November. But
no,
regardless.
check the tape.
We will not do that because we never do. But I've always been now. There's someone on this panel who obviously was not a Christian Watson stan. Who, if it's not you and it's not me, it kind of narrows down who we might be talking about. But, like, I wasn't, like, uber surprised. So, delightful, no doubt. Surprise, not, like, ultra surprised. Like, that's why I didn't think of that one as the surprise. Because the word surprise changed it for me. The surprise for me, what I came up with, was Lucas Havrisik. That was the surprise. Setting the franchise record for the longest field goal. They're keep him around all season now so he can take over if they're going to move on from their 30-plus-year-old kicker that had his struggles with his quadriceps and then in the playoff game. So that was my surprise. Delightful surprise, the Lucas Havrisik story. An underdog tale of a little-known kicker who was substitute teaching and now ends up, making all 10 of his kicks during his first opportunity to be the guy, and then obviously didn't go as well the second time around. So, again, no doubt, Christian Watson getting healthy and playing well is probably, with the exception of trading for Micah Parsons, the best thing that happened in the season, period, Finn. Right? That's 1A and 1B to me. But I'm not surprised enough to have thought of that as a surprise, I guess, is the reason why I didn't say that. It's not 11:15, so stop rolling your eyes.
It's absurd. That whole premise is absurd. Coming back from an ACL, he had surgery probably early February last year.
Right, but
January.
we also compared him during his rookie season to Randy Moss. So we've always known the ability
ACL
was there.
And 100 injuries ago.
Right.
To think that he was going to come and have the impact that he did as early as he did isn't a surprise. Nobody thought he was going to be back before Thanksgiving. And then he stayed healthy. Well, he gets back, he's going to get hurt. And then to be as productive as he was and elevate himself. How many times do we always say, it's always the year after the ACL, not the first year back? And how is that not a surprise?
Hey,
I get it. I don't agree with it, but I respect that you have a feeling on it. I don't like it, and I don't think it's right, but I will respect your feelings on it.
Okay, let's do our biggest disappointments, and then we'll.
Well, what's Jesse's biggest surprise? Gel.
Well,
this is your baby.
I was going to say the addition of Micah Parsons.
Trading for Micah Parsons was pretty surprising.
That they actually
because we kept downplaying that it was going to happen, and there were these little reports that were like, maybe he's got the agent. And we're like, no, that won't happen. And then all of a sudden, boom, there it was. It happened. So to me, that was the most delightful surprise. If we're saying in season, what was the most delightful surprise? That's tougher.
No, I was told it was very obvious.
Yeah.
It is obvious.
I mean, prior to getting hurt, Tucker Kraft getting the national attention that he was starting to get as one of the
that wasn't
best
a surprise,
type.
though.
It wasn't a surprise.
This is where I'm going to look at Jason. Everybody thought we saw him elevate himself at the end of last year. We all knew he was going to be a stud. That's not a surprise. It was delightful.
So the surprise wasn't that he played as well as he did because we saw that coming, but the surprise to me was how quickly everyone nationally was catching on to this guy is one of the best in the league.
This guy.
Like, Collinsworth was, speaking of this guy, Collinsworth was all about him in that Sunday night game against the Steelers, I think it was. And then I think the next week was when he got hurt against the Vikings, or I think that's how that played out.
Okay.
I just thought the Tucker Kraft emergence nationally, he was being mentioned in the same conversations as the best tight ends in the league. And the season-ending injury that he suffered was just as devastating as the Micah Parsons injury against the Broncos.
It's a good one. It's not surprising, though. Nobody that watched
nobody that watched
Tucker Kraft at the end of last season. Nobody that watched him at the end of last season didn't think he was going to be.
But it doesn't fit the definition of the question.
Well,
so
who
you
thought coming into
this
this season that we thought Tucker Kraft was going to be a stud? Like I wasn't even remotely surprised.
Yeah, me
that
either.
He was as great as he was.
I agree. Yep, I agree. All right, so let's do our disappointments.
That was your condescending.
No, it wasn't. No,
it felt like it.
I understand you lost someone close to you yesterday, so I know you're a little bit, and then you get a little bit. I won't make any more jokes about the failure to promote you on the webinar. You're a huge piece of what Annex is doing with these, and it's a great event. I look forward to joining late.
If you don't stop patronizing, I'm clicking this thing. I'm clicking the video off. I'm clicking it off.
I'm not patronizing you.
If your patronization doesn't stop.
No, and I wasn't condescending there. I was looking at the clock thinking, all right, let's get our disappointments in so we can start fresh at the top of the 10 o'clock hour with calls. I was not condescending
was
or
that not
patronizing.
super condescending?
I'll tell you tomorrow when Jason's off.
All right, who was condescending? Biggest disappointment were the free agent pickups from Brian Gutekunst. You bring these guys in, and you pay top dollar for Banks, and you pay a lot for the most physical corner that Jason watched on film
against Arizona.
And both players did not live up to the bill. And a matter of fact, it really set in stone or set in motion both units not playing up to probably their peak. If you ask most Packer fans right now, where do we need to improve the most? I said special teams, but I was in the minority. It's O-line and it's corner. That was addressed last year, and I would argue you have more question marks after addressing those issues now than you did last season. That, to me, is the biggest disappointment of this season.
That's a good one, and it really fits
That's
what we're
not
asking.
Condescending.
So you did a really good job. You did such a good
Thank
job
you.
there. Mine is different.
I should get hazard pay today. I should be getting hazard pay today.
This one doesn't qualify as
retired Navy fella even saying, "Boy, Tausch, you deserve it today, boy."
Is
Jason
he?
has been
Is he?
on one.
Let me. I'll
I
have to
hope
check
he
on
is.
that. Yeah,
he's in your pocket, but I think even he realizes you've been super condescending.
No,
go ahead.
My biggest disappointment was the fact that when they lost Micah Parsons, a guy that had 4.5 sacks in the first 3 games, that they needed to elevate his game, did the exact opposite. And that is Rashawn Gary. I thought Rashawn Gary would be inspired by the addition of Micah Parsons, and it looked like through 3 games that's exactly what had happened. I'm not going to get double-teamed, even though I'm not sure he got double-teamed as often as he wanted us to think he got double-teamed before Micah Parsons arrived. And I don't think he was terrible, but he wasn't impactful, okay? And there's obviously a very big difference between being okay and being impactful. And they needed him to elevate his game. And the guy that elevated his game is a guy who's a free agent that if I'm allocating funds to defensive end, I'm taking whatever money I would have paid Rashawn Gary, bringing him back with a pay cut, which I don't know if he would have accepted anyway, and I'm spending that on Kingsley Enagbare. I would much rather have him on my football team because he did elevate his game. He made plays late in the season when this team needed someone to do so. So my biggest disappointment was that Rashawn Gary was not more impactful, especially after they lost Micah Parsons to a season.
What do you make of Goody? What do you make of Goody making sure everybody knew his stats, that he was impactful? 60 pressures and 7.5 sacks. What did you make of that commentary?
I didn't make a mistake by drafting him or signing him to an extension. He's a good player, even though he doesn't pass the eye test as a really good player.
Okay.
What did you make of it?
I just thought it was interesting that he put those stats out there. I found that
resume guy.
Well, not usually. It's not usually where he lands. It's more about the play and the production. It was. I have to admit, I did not realize he had that many pressures. That's a lot of pressures.
I will have to. I will have to fact check that because there are a variety of different algorithms that are used in that arena, and I did not see that number being as high in other places. Jesse, your disappointment, so we can get the calls.
It's hard to not say Rashawn Gary.
I would say your disappointment, since you were so surprised by Tucker Kraft, shouldn't your biggest disappointment be him getting injured in November?
Well, I mean, injuries aside.
You can put Musgrave down there since you're going to go tight end. He had the same opportunity that Rashawn Gary had, and he did not seize it.
I also the more I reflect on the season, I'm one of the biggest disappointments because of the hype going into it was the lack of involvement of Matthew Golden in the offense. I thought that he would have a more significant role, especially during the time that Christian Watson was out. And I feel like he finally scored at the end of the year, but he didn't emerge the way that I think we thought he could have been a difference-making wide receiver right away. So that was a bit disappointing to me.
All right, we will get to yours now next. I feel like this is my only issue with you stealing this idea. Are there a lot of choices?
I'm seeing a bunch of different ones on the text line so far. YouTube's
there are a lot of choices,
pretty good,
especially on the disappointment.
On the disappointment, I agree. I agree. You have a lot of options there. I don't know if I feel the same way about delightful surprises, but let's find out. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talkin' text line. We'll get your delightful surprises and biggest disappointments after I tell you about Steinhafels. And at New Year, new sleep. Because waking up cranky is no way to wake up, especially in 2026. Right now at Steinhafels, save up to $1,000 on a Beauty Rest Black adjustable base set and pocket up to $300 in Steinhafels cash. A Queen Beauty Rest Black starts at just $34 a month with 60-month financing. And get this, if you test rest a Beauty Rest Black, you could win a dream vacation to Hawaii. Yes, Hawaii. Sleep better, spend smarter. Shop in-store or online at steinhafels.com. The 10 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
The pursuit of fair wages and top-of-the-line benefits is achieved when the right union has your back. The Sheet Metal Workers Labor Union is extremely diverse, representing Wisconsinites working HVAC, architectural metals, welding, specialty fabrication, and much more. Make great living wages with outstanding benefits, pensions, and apprenticeship programs in trained, safe working environments. The Sheet Metal Workers Union is a leading force in the revitalization of the labor movement in Wisconsin.
It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. This Marquette Minute is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is the official viewing party location for Marquette road games this season.
Marquette still searching for its first road win of the season after a 77-74 loss at Villanova. The Golden Eagles had their chances, building a 9-point second-half lead, but couldn't close it out late. Turnovers again proved costly as Marquette gave Villanova extra possessions that turned into key points during the Wildcats' late run. Head coach Shaka Smart.
Way too many turnovers turnovers first half, and then down the stretch, a lack of poise. You know, sometimes that goes along with youth. It's on us to make sure that we learn from it, and we will.
Royce Parham paced MU with a career-high 26 points and 11 rebounds. The Golden Eagles dropped to 9-16 overall and 4-10 in Big East play. They're back on the road Saturday at Xavier.
This Marquette Minute is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is the official viewing party location for Marquette road games this season. Check out the Golden Eagles watch party schedule at gomarquette.com/BWW.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wildy and Tausch begins now. Let's get to a call. Jesse, did you take any pictures with anyone in the Menominee area when you visited UW Stout?
I did not. No.
Okay. Nobody recognized you, or
nobody asked? Yeah, nobody asked.
And no one stole your mouse.
We had the athletic director from UW Stout join me for the halftime show. We had a player, a star, Malia Nelson, no relation. Had a great game for UW Lacrosse. She was the player of the game. She joined me after the game. But we didn't take any pictures when they sat next to me on the broadcast booth in UW Stout. No.
Sorry to hear that. A couple things from Twitter before we get to our call. First, Brian with our question. The season is over. Let it go and move on. So I'm going to say Brian doesn't like your topic that you stole from
Brian. We just played the Super Bowl. Like, we can't reflect. We still talk about 2014. Tausch talked about it an hour ago. We can't look back at all and talk about what transpired so that we.
I'm just passing along the feedback.
I'm not gonna.
We want feedback. Hey, we'll take feedback. We won't always acknowledge. We won't always adhere to it, but feedback is good.
Brian clearly not a fan of debriefs in his line of work. Who cares? Thing happened already. Let's go on to the next one.
Meanwhile, Jerry, who is also known as retired Navy fella. It is a close call, Tausch, but I think the medal goes to Jason. Sorry, buddy.
No! Jerry, normally I can understand your point on it being flipped, but today, Jason, okay, it's not 11:15.
It's not 11:15.
All right, Jerry. I appreciate your
and then Michael Rodney, known as Packers Notes on Twitter. I can't think of a delightful surprise. If I had to choose someone, maybe nose tackle Colby Wooden. He held up better than expected, despite being 30 pounds undersized. As for the biggest disappointment, take your pick among Aaron Banks, Elton Jenkins, Rashawn Gary, and Nate Hobbs. Yeah, lots to choose from on the disappointment part. No doubt about it.
Colby Wooden's our most delightful surprise.
Again,
that's an
issue.
It
all comes down to how surprised you are by Christian Watson. Because Tausch's point, as condescending and patronizing as I may be,
arrogant. And arrogant.
That one I'm not going to take. You want to call me condescending?
All right. Condescend. We'll keep it at condescend.
Be that
I'm
as
just
it
glad
may.
you acknowledge.
Say you're sorry.
Be that as it may.
Shut up.
Wait another hour. Be that as it may, one of the best things that happened during the season, Christian Watson coming back the way he did.
By the way, would you give him a new fat $35+ million a year deal off of that? Or are you going to wait?
Nope.
You're waiting.
Nope. I am going to wait. Yeah,
I'm with you.
So
I'm with you.
I don't know what that says, but all right, let's get to a call.
Mid-season, if you want to,
I would say halfway through the season, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You don't have to sign him before that, so you can, as we learned from our buddy Ken Ingalls, the Packers cap guy. He didn't work for the Packers. He on his own
Yeah, he
does all this cap stuff.
He put a nice article out today, too, that I'm sure we'll get to, because that won't be debriefing. That will be rebriefing, like moving forward. I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for. Pre-briefing, the 2026 season. But what free agents and what he believes the Packers will do, I thought it was an interesting piece.
I will check that out. But before I can do that, let's take a call. The reason why I asked Jesse if he took any pictures is because this is a guy that he took a picture with at a meat raffle, I believe.
Sure was.
Jesse, introduce your friend.
Boomer in Athelstein. What's up, Boomer?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Okay, Boomer. We're doing good. How you doing?
Doing great. So my delightful surprise is still the continued promise and improvement that Malik Willis has shown since we got him. Back when we got him for that 7th round pick, I was hoping they'd get a veteran quarterback to help Love out, because I knew that the people's choice, Sean Clifford, wasn't going to win any games for the Packers.
Yeah, they knew that too, it turned out.
So Malik Willis's continued showing of falling out whenever Jordan Love was out was my surprise how much he continues to show. And the biggest disappointment, well, you could say for the last 2 years, is the fact that, I don't remember if it was Ron Wolf or Holgram, someone said you can't make the club if you're in the tub, is Marshawn Lloyd. All the promise that everyone was so excited to see him on the field, he's never been able to stay on the field.
True. Yeah, I will say this, too, because I spent some time this morning, and thanks for the call, Boomer, and thanks for providing us with photo content for our YouTube stream every time Jesse puts up his picture. I think Jesse really feels good about how his hair looks in that photo.
Yeah, Jesse looks good in that picture.
He does. It's flattering.
Needed
again,
a
very
haircut
photogenic guy, Jesse is.
Boomer's hair looks good, too.
He's got a good beard, and
I
he's
like
holding
Boomer's
the right
glasses on that. I'm a big fan of the real circular lens. I think that's a good look for Boomer.
The Marshawn Lloyd piece is also interesting because, Tausch's criticism, and it's not necessarily criticism, this is who the guy is, but Josh Jacobs is not a home run hitter. You've said that, right? Not. But if you pair Josh Jacobs with what Marshawn Lloyd is in theory, then you keep Josh Jacobs to be your bell cow, and then you've got a home run hitter that you put into the game, and then he breaks a big one for you. But he hasn't. There's no evidence at the NFL level he can do that.
Count on that. I would definitely not count on that.
No, I mean I don't even know.
I want a young back drafted this draft. I want someone that, if they do keep Josh Jacobs, I want someone that can be everything. And I don't think it's. I mean, we've seen it. Aaron Jones, great pick. You don't need to go first, second round on a tailback. Find somebody this draft to set up if Josh Jacobs is back, being that home run hitter, being that next guy that you feel like can take the reins over from Josh. I think that's an important – I think that's another thing, and we've said this all offseason already. It was a big, big offseason for Goody because I would argue there's more holes now. Not going to go all the way back to when he first took over because that wouldn't be fair. But there's a lot of opportunities to upgrade your roster, and especially in certain positions that are going to need to be addressed. And Goody's got a lot of work to do.
He does indeed. All right, we need to get to some more of the ways that you can chime in on this subject. Of course, it's always the Carbless talk and text line, whether you call or text. It's 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. You can also subscribe, like Tausch claims he did, and chat in the YouTube, which he can't do because If you're subscribed, you can. If you're not subscribed, you can't. But be that as it may, you can subscribe and chat there. You can also get us on all of our social media channels. The most delightful surprise and the biggest disappointment of the 2025 season, some might argue that we should move on. But I feel like those things can inform our view for this coming season, which I also think is, important. So, again, 844-770-3776, as Jesse has stolen this brilliant idea from a fan who called Rich Eisen on the Rich Eisen Show. We have had a couple of guests the last 10 days or so to promote the film A Road at Night. It is obviously something that is personal to a lot of people, myself included. And we've promoted it a lot, and there's with good reason, because not only is the film fantastic, it's a documentary about former Badgers player and assistant coach Howard Moore and the 2019 car accident that he and his family were involved in Michigan. It is incredibly well done. It is both really sad and uplifting at the same time. I can't say enough good things about how well John Roach and the team that put this together did it, because it is a very difficult story to tell. And it is playing now in a limited engagement at the Marcus Point Cinema in Madison. Now, tonight there's a showing, and if you go to A Road at Night, there might be still a couple tickets left there, aroadatnight.com. If you're interested, $225 to take part in the special screening and the event that they've got in conjunction with that, and all the proceeds go to Howard's continuing care as he continues to need it. And then it will show starting tomorrow and all the way through the 19th, and there will be a series of post-screening panels throughout the weekend. Tomorrow night, it'll be John Roach, the director, and Jarrell Moore, Howard's son. Also, if you get a chance, Jim Polzine wrote a really compelling story about Jarrell in today's State Journal and on Madison.com. On Saturday, it's a Badger basketball night. Stan Van Gundy, who joined us last week, will be there, along with Rashard Griffith and Andy Kilbride. And then on Sunday, it'll be a powerful conversation on faith, family, and healing. Again, it is one story and one community. A Road at Night at Marcus Point Cinema in Madison. All proceeds go to support Howard's ongoing care. You can find showtimes and get tickets at aroadatnight.com. We'll get more of your thoughts on the Packers' most delightful surprise and biggest disappointment next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Half of American parents cannot afford diapers. Hi, this is WTMJ's Kristen Bry. This spring, WTMJ and the Milwaukee Diaper Mission are teaming up to change that. Join me for WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies, where we will raise funds for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Register to bowl with us on March 7th at Village Bowl in Menominee Falls. Registration is now open. Go to WTMJCares.com to sign up. Act quickly, teams will fill up fast. It's WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies to help the Milwaukee Diaper Mission.
At Associated Bank, we know running a business is tough enough, so our business is making your business banking easy. That's why we make sure it speaks your language. Business and consumer-linked accounts? How about all your banking all in one place with one login account? $50 overdraft grace zone? Think of it as a I never said I was a CFO grace zone. And maintenance fee-free account? Well, free is always good. At Associated Bank, we get you. That's why we've got you. Learn more at associatedbank.com/YouGotThis. Member FDIC.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
This President's Day, stand up for comfort and real savings at Steinhoffel's. Celebrate with big deals store-wide. Get $50 off every $4.99 you spend. Save on sofas, sectionals, dining, bedrooms, and mattresses, plus amazing doorbusters. Make your dream room more affordable with no interest financing until 2031 when you spend $19.99 or more. Plus, get a $200 MasterCard. Hurry, shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com.
If you're into muskie fishing, the Muskie Expo is the place to be this coming weekend, the 13th through the 15th, where you'll find an excellent assortment of everything muskies, held at the Washington County Fair Park. Find out more at muskieexpo.com.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
There's never been a better time to experience Pella in person and get all your questions answered. Join us at the NARI Spring Home Improvement Show, February 13th through the 15th at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Book your in-home consultation at the show and receive a free DesignWorks rendering. Rest easy with Pella's 10-year limited warranty and get 0% interest for up to 48 months. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
So this has not maybe led to the engagement level that Jesse was hoping. But we've got a couple of responses that I want to get to, but I just got an email from Greg Hill. You know him as Pancake on Wisconsin's Morning News. Teases are not probably my best skill. But I am clicking on the link that he sent. Could the Bears build a stadium in Wisconsin? And should we try? We asked Tausch. I'm going to be honest. When they looked at Indiana, and Gary, I said, okay, that makes sense. When they looked at, when we shouldn't say that the Bears looked in Iowa. What we should say is there is a lawmaker in Iowa who has certainly garnered some attention for making a play to try and lure them there. In fairness to the Bears.
Bettendorf Bears.
I don't think the Bears, they're happy to take this as another bargaining chip for them. But I don't think the Bears have been actively looking to move to Iowa. But I looked at that and I rolled my eyes. I never once thought, well, hey, wait a minute, the Kenosha Bears. just build something. What was that company that was going to build that whole big factory and whatever else in like Pleasant Prairie? Foxconn. Could we put the Bears' new stadium where that Foxconn was supposed to be? Like they cleared a lot of space. They put a lot of infrastructure in. I had not thought of the Bears moving to Wisconsin. I want to find out what Tausch said a little bit later in the program before he goes off to his Annex Wealth Management webinar with Dr. Is it Ben Jacobson? No, he played for the Gophers.
Yeah, it's Dr. Jacobson.
Dr. Brian Jacobson.
Brian Jacobson.
Brian.
That's what it is. So, Jesse, let's put a bow on the delightful surprises and biggest disappointments. What have we come across on the text portion of the talk and text line?
Some good ones over here. Tucker and Wausau. Delightful surprise, Christian Watson. Disappointment, Keyshawn Nixon. The NFL posted their top 100 plays on YouTube. Nixon was in the frame for 3 of the 4 plays against the Packers. There was only one play that was the Packers making the play in the top 100 of the season. That's from Tucker and Wausau.
I mean, he also led the NFL in pass breakups. Like,
does that mean no one's afraid of him and they're going to throw at him?
Sure, I'm sure that's part of it. But I guess my point is that he's he has some great moments and he has some not so great moments. Like, he's not. Is he an elite number 1 all-pro corner? No, he's not. Is he god-awful? No, he's not. And he also made a huge play to beat the Bears. Otherwise, they're 0-3 against the Bears this year, possibly, if they get that touchdown and then get the 2-point conversion and win that game at Lambeau. And then that jerk Ben Johnson is holding all that over Matt LaFleur. So I don't. Keyshawn Nixon was inconsistent, 100% fair. I will not tag him as the biggest disappointment. That's a little strong for my liking.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. I'll concur.
Jesse, what else you got on the text portion of the talk and text line?
Dale in Reedsburg. My pleasant surprise was Daniel Whelan. He led the league with a 51.7 average yards per punt, over 5 yards more than he had last year. Great season from Dale in Reedsburg. Punter.
Punters are people, too.
Yeah, there's no doubt he should have probably been all-pro. He had a great season. So, there's 3 or 4 games he didn't punt and we lost. He didn't have a ton of opportunities, but when he was out there, yeah, he had a great season, and he's locked himself in. I think he's obviously one of the most stable parts of this special teams unit that Rich Bisaccia looks like is going to lead again for a 5th straight season.
It will not be Byron Storer, who is the new special teams coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. You got one more, Jesse?
One more from Buzzy in Beloit. Most delightful preseason surprise was Parsons. However, most delightful in-season is extremely debatable. We may need to look at being surprised in more of a negative way, such as we're surprised Rashawn Gary is so terrible, or surprised why Goody is so consistently subpar at drafting.
Oh, snap.
Wow. No wonder people want to move forward with next season and not talk about this past season.
Buzzy, bringing the heat.
He's a buzz kill, am I right? Here's my question since he brought up Parsons. Like, we all knew Micah Parsons was good, right? Like, we all understood that. There was much excitement, and rightfully so, about him. Did he surprise you? Was he better than you expected? I thought he actually even had a better and more meaningful impact, until he got hurt, of course, than even I was anticipating. Like, he brought a swagger to the locker room that I didn't think was necessarily there. His motor, like, he plays hard all the time. And Lord knows, and you certainly know it from playing against defensive linemen for 11 years in the NFL, there were plenty of folks that took plays off. And he does not appear to take plays off. Now, maybe Cowboys fans, which I don't know how many of them actually listen to our show, would call and say, no, he took plays off in Dallas. I don't know that. I didn't watch him closely in Dallas. Didn't do the film study that I did of Nate Hobbs. But the fact of the matter is I thought he was even better than I expected him to be. Did you feel the same way or not?
I did. I think talent-wise, he's exactly what I expected. But yeah, I would agree with you from a leadership standpoint, and obviously the way people viewed and listened. He's very vocal. The whole concept of the distraction and the contract that he had the last 2 or 3 months in Dallas, you can't take a really good snapshot of who he is because obviously things got messy and gnarly. But prior to that, I think there was, boy, he's outspoken. Boy, he has a lot of opinions. He's got this pod. And I don't think that's a bad thing. He does play. He is relentless in what he does. And I think that tone, whenever he gets back, is critical. And hopefully that continues to spread throughout the rest of the defense because his impact on the field was incredibly – it was noticeable. And I think the off-the-field stuff was just starting to kind of take shape. And, Jason, I don't know what day it was this week. You basically, when I asked, when we were discussing Jordan Love, you didn't blink when I said, well, if Jordan Love doesn't handle that part of this team, who is the leader of this team? And you didn't blink. It was Micah Parsons before I finished the sentence. And you want your best players to be leaders. And they're going to do it in different ways. I don't want Jordan Love screaming from bleachers. Micah Parsons maybe will be more of that vocal leader that every team needs to find its voice, and maybe it'll be Micah that will end up being that guy.
Yeah, and as you point out, I'm not. When I said that, I wasn't saying that Jordan Love is not a leader, but he is not the vocal type. That is just not who he is. And whether it's on a couch talking to Kay Adams or whether it's in the hallway talking to us, he's the same every time. He's consistent. But you never walk away from a conversation going, can you believe he said that? I gotta run up to my office and write something quick and get it posted onto the website because that's huge. I need to call whatever show is on ESPN Wisconsin at the moment that he said it. I gotta call KBN and gotta tell them, you guys gotta hear what Jordan Love just said. And that doesn't happen. Micah Parsons, probably every other week there's something that's probably that significant that if you really wanted to, you could go chase a lot of clicks and get a lot of people on social media riled up by what he says.
Yeah,
so,
and in fairness, this whole edge thing that I've been talking about, we need some of that. Like, it's great that we're nice and that we're, got a lot of really good dudes. Football is a nasty game. You need edge. And it doesn't need to be rah-rah speeches all the time, but there needs to be a blank these guys. And I think my point was on Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was, the Bears were borderline, it was a little disrespectful. And when people disrespect you, you bow up. And I want to feel that. And I think that's where Packer fans, probably there is a little bit of a disconnect. And, again, it's February, so it's not – this isn't some NORAD, oh, my God, we got to do it. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's new territory. We have to look at things from the prism of where we are, not where we've been. And sometimes that can be humbling. But you know what's really humbling is losing an 18-point lead in the second half of a playoff game.
Yep.
And I think that can be a really good thing for an organization and for its team if you use it the right way.
I would agree. I guess my question, and let's play some trivia and then maybe revisit this afterward. So if Jordan Love's not going to be the edge guy, who are the edge guys? and I don't mean edge rusher. I mean guys
Xavier McKinney.
that will give you that
an
edge
guy.
Well, we'll talk about that coming up after we play some trivia and after Tausch tells us about UW Credit Union. Jesse, what's today's category and which caller do you want?
Winter Olympics terminology. Today's Wilde and Tausch trivia category. Winter Olympics in full swing. Men's hockey gets started today. 2:00, I think, Central Time they play today. Winter Olympics terminology.
How many times will that be shown then on prime time and how many different channels?
I think I just saw I have it on here in the studio. I think they're going to be on USA Network, but they did say that about the curling the other day, and then it ended up not. So who knows? Peacock, USA, Peacock NBC, app. All of it. Yeah.
And your caller?
Caller 12.
Caller 12, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 12 plays trivia after Tausch tells us about UW Credit Union.
And for every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. They're going to help you reach all of your financial goals. And you know what? Why should you join UW Credit Union? Well, you want to stay local. Wisconsin folks, we love staying local. We want that great member first service, and we love great perks like early payday. You know what? Also, Bucky is everywhere. I like to go back and go to the game on Friday. T-shirt cannon out. You know what? UW Credit Union said, we're going to get these T-shirts to you. We're going to do it whatever way we can. They're always out in the community. They want to be a part of everything, and we love that. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Become a UW Credit Union member today and get your Bucky card like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
Trivia's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point with Chris Canty.
It's about the value proposition. The Seattle Seahawks moved off of Geno Smith. Why? Because Geno wanted a new contract. They didn't want to give it to him. They moved off of Russell Wilson. Why? Because Russell Wilson wanted a contract. They didn't want to give it to him. And what that allowed John Schneider, their general manager, to do is build out the rest of the roster with the draft picks that they were able to acquire as a result of making those moves. And those players developed into what became a good offensive line and a dominant defense. Why can't the Detroit Lions take a page out of that book? Jared Goff is not a $53 million a year quarterback. He's just not. Not at this stage in his career. Maybe he once was. Hell, maybe you could justify it when they gave him the deal a couple of years ago. But based on where he's at right now, you can't continue to commit those resources to Jared Goff and expect the Detroit Lions would be able to get to where they want to go.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I love seeing the old gang at these reunions. Did you see Brian? He's in better shape than he was 25 years ago. How is that even possible? Yep, I ran into him a few weeks ago and had to ask. He told me he started taking Nugenix Total T2. The testosterone booster? Yeah, but it's way more than that now. It also skyrockets your nitric oxide in as little as 3 hours. I started taking it right away, and I'm already seeing results. I was wondering what you were doing. You seriously crushed me in that pickup game last week. Yep, after 40, energy, strength, drive, it all starts going downhill. But with T2, I feel like my old self again. Stronger, leaner, and my energy is way up. My wife even noticed a difference. They're giving out complimentary bottles right now. Just send them a text.
Text ROCK to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of new Nugenix Total T2. Text now and you'll also get a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator. That's ROCK to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Product not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident.
And from now through February 22nd, our listeners get 35% off all Iron Jock gear on orders over $50 with the code ESPN35. Iron Jock helps you look good, smell good, and keep showing up. Shop now at ironjock.com.
Disney on Ice presents Frozen and Encanto in one exciting family experience. Sing along with Anna and Elsa in wintry Arendelle. and celebrate the power of love. Y Familia with Mirabel and Bruno in the show everyone will be talking about, live in your hometown. Now playing at Fiserv Forum this week. Great seats still available. Visit DisneyOnIce.com and get your tickets today.
Imagine working with a contractor that quits halfway through a project or never calls you back when you have questions. Or worse, takes your money and you never see them again. Unfortunately, we hear about them all the time. Hi, this is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, and Siding Unlimited is absolutely not that company. Siding Unlimited has been doing business for 32 years, proving to be an honest, ethical, and forthright company. If you're looking for the honest guys for your next siding, windows, roofing, and doors project, stop by sidingunlimited.com today.
Calling all seafood lovers, the lobster salad sub is officially back at Cousin Subs. Fresh lobster mixed with our creamy signature mayo, topped with tomato and onion, served over crisp lettuce and finished with a sprinkle of Old Bay. All on our fresh-baked Italian bread. It's a crave-worthy classic you can enjoy in store, online, or on the app, but only through April 5th. So catch it while you can. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
I just want to get a clarification on the rules before we play. As long as you are a Wisconsin resident, even if you are not in Wisconsin at the time of playing, you are eligible.
That is correct. Your city of residence is what matters. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let's play trivia presented by Iron Jock and Cousin Subs.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is brought to you by Iron Jock, performance apparel that actually performs. No stink, just performance, and proudly Wisconsin built. Shop now at ironjock.com. And by Cousin Subs. It's lobster season at Cousin Subs. Their lobster salad sub is fresh, flavorful, and only here for a limited time. Try it today.
Let's welcome our contestants live from Maui.
Wow, is that early?
Maui,
6-hour difference, I think.
What can I say except you're welcome to the show? But a resident of Lake Geneva, making the eligibility question a non-issue. It is Kevin from Lake Geneva, live in Maui. Kevin, good morning. Very good morning. How you doing
morning.
Today?
Oh, aloha, gentlemen.
Aloha. Nicely done. Well played. Mahalo.
Kevin, quick question. I have a friend that's been over in Hawaii, and the weather's been brutal for them. Is it better in Maui, or are you having some issues over there?
There's been rain, not as warm maybe as you'd expect in Hawaii, but I'm only here for a day. It's with work, so it's, I don't look at it that closely.
You went all the way to Hawaii for 1 day of work?
A 1 day pop?
Well, when you work for an airline, that's the way it works. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Well, safe travels and enjoy your stay in Maui.
You're spending your 1 day in Maui listening to us?
Love it. That's what I was
on the beach, right?
I'll be out and about. I'll be out and about in a little bit. It's only coming up on 7 a.m. here, so plenty of time in the day still.
All right. Well,
I think this is a record, by the way. I don't think anyone's ever played trivia further from Wisconsin than Kevin is in Maui right now. I think this is a new record.
Didn't we have somebody in Australia call?
People have called in from further, but specifically playing trivia.
Oh.
I don't think we've had anyone further than Maui.
Gotcha. All right.
All right, well, whatever the league record is, today you are the contestant, and you are eligible for the Iron Jock and Cousins prize packs because you're a Wisconsin resident who just happens to be in Maui for one day. So here you go. Question number 1. In figure skating, the designated furnished area where athletes and coaches wait to see the scores of their performances is known by which of these names? Is it the kiss and cry area, the show and tell area, or the wine and cheese area?
I'll go with A.
I didn't know this. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Never heard this term.
The kiss and cry area where they await their scores. They get to sit down. And there's a lot of kissing and a lot of crying.
I will say this. There was one young guy who competed who lost his parents in that crash in D.C., and he was holding a photo of them, and that hit me really hard. So there was definitely crying in that instance. All right, question 2 is this. The series of bumps that skiers navigate, often created naturally when skis push the snow into mounds, are known by which of these names? Are those mountaineers, moguls, or slaloms?
Those would be moguls?
They would be. That one I knew. Now, that one I had. All right. You're 2 for 2, Kevin. I don't know what I would have gone with in that first one. Maybe kiss and cry just because none of them made sense. Question 3, Kevin, and a chance for a clean sweep in beautiful Hawaii during your one-day stay. The innermost circle of the target in curling is known by which of these names? Is it the cup, the pen, or the button?
I just finished watching the U.S. women beat South Korea about a half hour ago here in my hotel room, and it is the button.
All right, Kevin, first of all, great job. 3 for 3. You got 4 entries. Can you give us your sleep pattern exactly for your travel from Lake Geneva to Maui? If you, before listening to us, which, by the way, not yet 7 a.m. out by you, you were watching curling live in your hotel room. What exactly has been your travel and sleep itinerary?
You just try to stay, if it's such a short stay, I just stay on my home body clock as best I can. So you're kind of up at awkward times then. Here I'll be up at 3, 4 in the morning, and I just stay on my 4-hour difference from home body clock.
And when do you head home now?
Tonight. It's an all-night flight, so it leaves at 8 p.m. here, so that's like midnight back home, and gets back at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m.
And like Tausch, you're a good sleeper on airplanes, I'm sure. So, all right, well, safe travels home. You will have 4 entries into tomorrow's drawing. Congratulations, and thanks for the report and for listening while you're in Hawaii.
All right. Love you guys.
I love you guys.
I am fascinated.
Kevin just earned his way into the trivia contest that we're going to be doing this
by playing for Maui
Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, he's in. Yeah, that's the kind of dedication that you have to respect. He's in.
I do. I respect it. No doubt about it. I respect it. Now we just got to get that contest put together. All right. That is trivia. I do want to circle back to a question that I asked Tausch before we played trivia, because I want to know who those edgy guys are. Because he did get clipped, and it did get a fair amount of attention, although maybe not apparently as much negative attention as something else he'd said. But I want to get, who are the guys that are going to bring the edge that Tausch wants? We will start with that before we get to the 11 o'clock hour, so we will get things started next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
A Road at Night is a documentary chronicling former Badgers player and coach Howard Moore and the 2019 tragedy that forever changed his family. You can see it on the big screen at Marcus Point Cinema in Madison, February 13th through the 19th, with exclusive post-screening panels during the opening weekend. A Road at Night, February 13th through 19th at Marcus Point Cinema in Madison. All proceeds support Howard Moore's ongoing care. Find showtimes and get tickets right now at aroadatnight.com.
This President's Day, stand up for comfort and real savings at Steinhoffel's. Celebrate with big deals store-wide. Get $50 off every $4.99 you spend. Save on sofas, sectionals, dining, bedrooms, and mattresses, plus amazing doorbusters. Make your dream room more affordable with no interest financing until 2031 when you spend $19.99 or more. Plus, get a $200 MasterCard. Hurry, shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com.
Tired of waking up exhausted? That dad bod weighing you down? Let's get you back to the old you. If your energy, focus, and drive aren't what they used to be, your hormones could be out of balance. At Mentality, we'll dig into what's really going on, then build a personalized, science-backed plan using hormone therapy and peptide treatments to get your brain and your body back on track. So stop telling yourself you're just getting older. Book your appointment now at lowtusa.com. Right now, all new patient labs are covered in your treatment plan. That's a savings of $250. Go to lowtusa.com.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miller from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. Custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, you name it, we can do it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more is family owned and all about celebrating life's big moments. Maybe it's a milestone birthday, a celebration for your child's first goal, or that work fundraising event. We are everyone's printer. No minimum orders, affordable designs, and help straight from me and our team. We're the one-stop shop for all your custom needs. Start your project today at bigfrog.com/Mequon.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org.
With your UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, I'm Will Summers. This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Beloit Memorial senior guard Amari Herford. Herford was named one of the 10 semifinalists for the WBCA Mr. Basketball Award, recognizing him as one of the top senior players in Wisconsin. The honor comes after another dominant performance where Herford poured in 41 points in a 93-29 win over Milwaukee Riverside. He recently crossed the 2,000-point career milestone and has been one of the most productive guards in the state all season, averaging 37.1 points per game. The 6'2" guard also contributes 9.1 rebounds and 5.9 assists per game, consistently filling up the stat sheet night after night. Herford's play has helped Beloit Memorial surge to a 14-2 record as the Knights continue their push toward the postseason. Congrats to Amari Herford, your UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
Big trucks can be intimidating. If you've been seriously injured in a truck crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Trucking law can be extremely complicated. You don't want to take on the insurance company alone. Gruber Law Offices has the experience, the resources, and of course, the results. We know truck law. We know the rules and regulations. We know what it takes to win. Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin is still cattle country, and that's why Bunzel's chose to stay close to home to hand select the finest beef. Quality goes into everything they do, from Bunzel's expansive array of meats, homemade specialty sausages, and their award-winning beef jerky. It just isn't a proper holiday meal without Bunzel's top quality cuts on the dinner table. Tasting is believing. Visit Bunzel's at 90th and Burleigh or bunzels.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
How do you not get fired up when you hear this? All right, Edgy McGee. By the way, I understand that certainly from firsthand experience, there are times when you're less than thrilled with the clipping process, but, I get it. But I thought this take, even though you and I kind of got after each other a little bit, which doesn't happen uber frequently, I didn't lose sight of the fact, though I may be patronizing and condescending, and some may say arrogant, I didn't lose sight of the fact that your point was a good one. I just didn't think Jordan Love was the guy that was going to deliver it because that's not his personality. But I think your desire to see a greater edginess over the losses to the Bears and just, hey, we got to get our blank together. We have to expect more. We have to do more than we have the last 3 seasons. And look, we lose sight of the fact that Jordan Love now has been the starting quarterback for 3 seasons. The first year, they undeniably overachieved. They got hot late in the year. They won a playoff game in convincing fashion. And frankly, if their rookie kicker is not a rookie kicker, but they have an experienced guy that meets the moment.
Maybe.
I
experienced
understand.
guy hasn't kicked very well in the playoffs either.
It's true.
In fairness.
But maybe they're playing an NFC championship game in Jordan's first year as a starter, with a big-time win over what I would argue has been their nemesis in postseason play for a very long time, and that would be the San Francisco 49ers. Jordan Love deals with injuries. They beat up on a lot of bad teams. When we look back on the 2024 season, the Packers weren't that good. And while I'm not saying that the Bears of 2025 were the Packers of 2024, but if there was a quality of win factor for the Bears this past season, it would not be uber high. And they hit some teams that were playing backup quarterbacks, just like the Packers did in 2024. Packers got fat on the AFC South that year. And so when they lost to the Eagles, who went on to win the Super Bowl, not surprised. The way they finished this past season and the way I look at the injuries, I do think they were a better team than they ended up being. But losing the 2 guys that I didn't think they could afford to lose hurt them bigly. But they should have an edge. They should be pissed off, which is the way I'm allowed to use that word. So who are the guys that you look to that have that in them? Because Elton Jenkins has it in him, and he ain't going to be on the team next year, I don't think.
Nope.
Sean Ryan, I feel like he has it in him. Again, as we discussed with Blue earlier in the week, disappointed in that group for not getting after Austin Booker after the concussion hit on Love. But they've got some tough guys that can talk and could show that edge. Keyshawn Nixon, I feel, has that edge, but I don't know if Packers fans want to hear from him because they kind of feel like he runs his mouth more than he produces. So when you're looking for people to exhibit the edge that you so rightly demanded, who is it? I think of Josh Jacobs, and that's kind of the end of my list, and Micah Parsons and Tucker Kraft, neither of whom were healthy at the end of the season. Those are my top 3.
Yeah, I would put Xavier McKinney in that mix, too. I think he's been very selective with his
He has been selective.
outspokenness.
Mm-hmm.
Tucker
point.
Kraft will be the bell cow offensively as far as edge. He's been, I think, really elevated himself. Not a surprise to me that he elevated himself to the degree that he did this season. But really, the vocalness was very impressive as well. So he is going to be that guy on offense. And then I think it is going to be Micah. And I think Xavier McKinney. If you don't need 11 of those guys, but especially on the defensive side of the ball, I want I'm trying to think if it was Nitschke or if it was Lombardi saying, I don't want milk drinkers, I want whiskey drinkers in the fourth quarter. And listen, I love milk. I think it's wholesome, builds strong bones. It's important. But when the money's on the table, who's going to be able to deliver? And who is going to be that guy that's not afraid to get in the foxhole and go? And when you're when you're up 18 and you feel like things are slipping away, who's going to elevate and say, no, not on my watch. No, we're not doing this. That's what you need. And you need to get that polluted mindset of let's hang on for dear life out of your program. Because I thought, I mentioned earlier that Jesse was feeling a certain way at 19-7 in the Super Bowl. Well, he wasn't. But Packer fans, I saw all throughout social media throughout that Super Bowl, God, if we were up 12 in the fourth quarter, I'd be panicking. I'd be nervous. And that's because, as a fan base, we've been burned. And as an organization, I think there's a little bit of a hangover with that too. Mm-hmm. And that stuff's got to get fumigated out. I don't know how you do it. It's not easy. It's by having guys that won't allow it to happen. And you start building that thing back in a different way, because what we've done, there's been bad luck. Romeo Doubs not recovering the onside kick kind of set that in motion.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen to every other team. And, yes, there is good luck and bad luck, and I get it. The ball will bounce certain ways. But I kept coming back to that playoff game, Green Bay got almost every bounce. The offensive tackle catches the ball, gets stripped, ball bounces out of bounds. Ball bounces out of bounds, and in the end zone, Romeo Doubs recovers the touchdown. Like, they got a lot of breaks in that game and still were unable to get it done. So you make your own luck. And there's always, degrees to that. But I would be interested. Chewy always would tell you that that linebacker Simmons,
Wayne
brought
Simmons.
the edge.
Yep.
Wayne Simmons. You have to have guys that set that tone and do bring that edge. Charles Woodson was an edge guy. He set the edge. And he wasn't a super vocal guy, but boy, when he spoke, it was meaningful. Guys have to elevate to that, and I think that's part of the process of growing as a young team and growing as a team that brings players in from other places. They have to establish themselves to gain that trust and respect. And I think there's plenty of people on this roster that have done that, and now it's just getting out there and executing it.
You made me sad.
How so?
Because the famous quote that you just referenced is from one of the most colorful characters and one of those gone too soon characters in Packers history. It was not Vince Lombardi. It was not.
I said Nitschke.
Ray Nitschke.
It wasn't Nitschke? Okay.
It was Max McGee.
Is that right?
Max McGee. The quote is this: when it's 3rd and 10, you can take the milk drinkers, and I'll take the whiskey drinkers every time. Oh, Max was, I only got to meet him a few times over the years, but man, oh man, he was a character now. And that is a great quote. That is a great quote, even for a milk drinker like yourself. All right, we need to get to the 11 o'clock hour, but I'm glad you brought that up. We do have the Iron Jock contest coming up during the 11 o'clock hour, so start thinking about what caller you would like to have. But I do want to put this out, and I don't know, we didn't get a ton of calls on Jesse's stolen topic from Eisen. But since we've played trivia already, I would love to know who the people are. So whether you want to text them in or call them in, who are the guys that you think can bring the edge Tausch wants? Because, again, while we may have disagreed on Jordan Love being the message sender, I don't disagree with him on his desire to see that edge. But who's going to do it? We got a few people in the YouTube comments saying Nixon runs his mouth like that, but his play doesn't meet it. And that's, I think, how Packers fans, by and large, feel. So who are you nominating to be the Wayne Simmons, to be the whiskey drinker, that Max McGee was talking about. Because I don't see a whole lot of options. I don't. 844-770-3776 is the Carbless Talk and Text line. Less is more. The 11 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
There's never been a better time to experience Pella in person and get all your questions answered. Join us at the Neary Spring Home Improvement Show, February 13th through the 15th at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Book your in-home consultation at the show and receive a free Design Works rendering. Rest easy with Pella's 10-year limited warranty and get 0% interest for up to 48 months. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
It all started with a small storefront and a big promise. Treat every customer just like family. For decades, local families have trusted Sendix to provide the freshest food, the warmest smiles, and a place where community comes first. From generation to generation, we have grown together. Because Sendix is more than just a grocery store. It's home. Thank you for allowing us to serve you for the past 100 years. Here's to the next 100 years. Sendix, your trusted local grocer.
This is Coach Greg Gard. I've lived my whole life in Wisconsin, and I know what people here value. Hard work, honesty, and looking out for one another. That's exactly how Bank CMG approaches banking. They combine hometown values with modern tools to help people make confident financial decisions. When you want a bank that understands where you're coming from, Bank CMG makes sense. Visit bankcmg.com or stop by your local branch. Let's get to work.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Game Night, so for Events by Design. Events like appreciation parties and retreats can go a long way towards boosting morale and retaining top talent. Events by Design is your go-to creative partner for employee events that truly make an impact. They help leaders retain top talent by making their people feel seen, valued, and celebrated. The creative team at Events by Design does all the planning and production, making sure things not only look great, but also work. Make a smart investment in your culture today. Search online, Events by Design. They design, you party.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune in to Kyle Bruston Nortman every day from 2 to 5. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. And it begins as we search for those edge guys. And we're not talking about the guys that set the edge against the run. We're not talking about those guys that are edge rushers. We're talking about guys that have an edge. The guys that you want if you're in a fight in a dark alley. The guys that are going to say smack to shirtless Ben Johnson when he's yelling in the locker room, F the Packers, F them. I guess my question, Tausch, as Jesse curates the texts and calls that are coming into the Carbless Talk and text line 844-770-3776, how many of those do you need? And on the teams that you were on, when you think back to them, who were those guys for you? Because I think one of the criticisms that I see a lot from Packers fans that are frustrated with Matt LaFleur is that this team takes on the personality of its coach, and that he's not a FU guy, is not an edgy guy. He's kind of a, not give out bulletin board fodder and maybe say some things in the privacy of the locker room, but you don't really carry yourself in that way. In fact, Brandon in Tulsa delivers a text message that so is love. The GM and coach don't like whiskey drinkers, which is why this team gets punked and pushed around so much. Sitton, Lang, Bakhtiari, those guys and those days are gone. Brandon in Tulsa. Is he wrong?
It's hard for me to say that he's misreading the situation. To answer your question, Mike Wall was one of those guys. I felt like he set a real tone for our group. I think on the defensive side of the football, we've seen. Yeah, I think Marco was was tough. I mean, there's a difference, I think, between having that edge where you went probably above and beyond and when you just went out and did your job. I don't think we had a ton of those guys. I think there's the need to set tones. And that's why I was, talking a little bit, when Jordan did his hit with Kay Adams. Brett Favre. He wasn't Johnny Vocal, but I could tell a ton of stories about where he'd get in guys' face. He'd get in and mix it up and throw blocks and do those things that you wouldn't normally think a quarterback. I remember Aaron Rodgers, you're trying to blow up guys. The one time he almost threw a pick six down in New Orleans. There's that setting a tone for what you're doing is probably as important as having, some wild men on your football team. But there is something about guys that just kind of let it rip. And there's there's really not a filter to what they're doing. And you can't have 22 of those guys. You're going to end up with chaos. But what you can have is those guys getting reined in by everybody else when they know that you can't do that. But you still want that approach because you said swagger earlier about Micah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like there was a ton of that, even though they were creating turnovers. I thought Xavier McKinney brought, an edge to the defense last year, 2 years ago, with how his approach and what he did. I do think you need, especially on the defensive side of the ball, you need dogs. It can't be, I'm going to be technique sound and I'm going to do this. You have to have some guys that play like a rabid animal. And that sets the tone for everybody else. And I don't think effort was an issue. I know some folks will say that they saw some players maybe that wasn't the case. I didn't sense that last year, and I think Jeff Hafley did a great job of getting guys to fly around and hustle and the effort, and that's why you didn't see a ton of big plays because guys chased things down and their effort was good. But I do think there's just something missing. And I don't know how you go about approaching that other than watching the film and saying, that is an edge that we'd like to bring into our group.
I have a nominee before we get some more texts, and we've got a call as well. I have a guy that I think is going to be that guy. And you could hear it late in the season in the things he said. Now, he is not great for us from a radio perspective because he requires a lot of editing and dumping. But he's really physical, and he's a tough guy, and he talks too. Like this blank ain't acceptable, et cetera, et cetera. It's Javon Bullard. Okay. I was really impressed with him late in the year. I mean, he called it like he saw it, and some of it was pretty damn harsh. I will go back and try and track down some of that because it's instructive. But he talks and he plays that way, right? He definitely plays with an edge. You would agree with that about him, wouldn't you?
No doubt. I thought he had a great finish. Yeah, there's no doubt his stock continued to rise as the season continued to eclipse.
And his I would argue that his play backs up his talk. Like he didn't play. He's not one of those guys that doesn't play well but talks big. So I'm very curious to see whether or not he elevates that. Let's take a quick call, and then we'll get to some texts on the other side. 844-770-3776. Now, we talked to Kevin, who is from Lake Geneva but was in Maui. Now we're going to talk to Derek, who is in Lake Geneva, but I can't say whether or not he's from Maui. Derek, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, live in Lake Geneva. I have visited Maui on my honeymoon. But, Jason, great segue. I was going to comment on Javon Bullard as well, about the only guy that has any piss and vinegar in him on the team. I'm a firm believer that you cannot motivate people. Motivation comes from within. If we want to get any of these whiskey drinkers on our team, I think our only chance is to either draft them, these kids that have it within them already, or to go out and get free agents that have this instilled already. And Tausch, I want to ask you a quick question, and I want to hang up and listen to the answer. In your storied career, how many times have you ever seen players elevate and become this whiskey drinker within the organization?
Ooh.
I think they either have it when they're born, or you got to go and buy it. And I think the Packers' only chance is to draft it or to buy it, because I don't think you can grow it naturally on the team. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Really interesting.
Yeah, I think it's I don't think this is something that, players you've played football your whole life a certain way, and you're going to be that guy. That kind of goes back to what Jason said about Jordan Love. But there are things that, as a group, especially the O-line, you start, I don't want to use the term conforming, but you start picking up those traits that are winning, and you can grow into maybe elevating not only your play, but also the mentality of what it is. Great example. I think there's a lot of, well, I'm injured, I'm dinged up, I can't get out there. And then you watch and you see guys, whether it was Favre or Marco, and they don't miss practice. And you look at that and you say, well, I'm not feeling great, but these guys are out there. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to play. I'm going to practice. And as that continues on, you start kind of resetting your own approach, maybe, even though that isn't who you were or how you approach things. And defensively, you get called out if you're not scraping and hustling and doing everything you do by the tone setters. But as far as the, I'm a dog, I'm going to rip people's throats out, I'm going to do all this. Yeah, I do think that's more of almost a predisposition on how you view things compared to some of the things that you can pick up. And that's why there's not, again, I don't want 10 of those guys. I want a couple on each side of the ball that when push comes to shove, they're there. And I don't know how many of those cats there are. Part of it does come, no doubt about it, from your head coach and the approach that you want, and then the general manager by bringing guys in. Because Keyshawn Nixon, when he's playing well, you love that about him. I think back, the Bears came out and were way too hyped up in that first game, got penalties, and they were so jacked up that it can hurt you. But in the same respect, it does set that tone that we're not taking no blank from anybody. I do feel like Green Bay needs a little bit more of that.
Yeah, you're right. And a good call there, as well as a good question from Derek. Again, we'll talk more about this before we get to Wonelli. But before we can continue the conversation, in the immortal words of the late, great Kevin Green, it is time to talk about Iron Jock and give some Iron Jock swag away to a caller.
Indeed. What number was Max McGee? 85?
85. Right? Yes, sir.
Caller 85 today for the Iron Jock giveaway. And you know what? As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock, their performance apparel built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria. And it keeps you feeling fresh no matter how hard you work. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock will keep you dry, comfortable, and confident. And through February 22nd, our listeners, they get 35% off all Iron Jock gear on orders over $50. Again, that is code ESPN35 to get 35% off your Iron Jock order. Iron Jock, it will help you look good, smell good, and keep showing up. Shop now at ironjock.com. And now is your chance. Now it is time to win Iron Jock socks and a hat. Caller 85 will win Iron Jock socks and a hat. Again, caller 85 at 844-770-3776.
844-770-3776. That is also where you can text us your edgy guys that you want to see step up in terms of what Tausch talked about earlier in the week. But win your Iron Jock gear next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee. All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
Your taste buds are in luck. The Reuben is back at Cousin Subs. Try this classic sub grilled to order just for you. Stacked with corned beef, Wisconsin Swiss cheese, and sauerkraut topped with Thousand Island dressing and served on rye bread. And our delicious mint shake is back. Both the Reuben and mint shake can be ordered via the Cousins app or online for a limited time only. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
This President's Day, stand up for comfort and real savings at Steinhoffel's. Celebrate with big deals store-wide. Get $50 off every $4.99 you spend. Save on sofas, sectionals, dining, bedrooms, and mattresses, plus amazing doorbusters. Make your dream room more affordable with no interest financing until 2031 when you spend $19.99 or more. Plus, get a $200 MasterCard. Hurry, shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, I mean, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Disney on Ice presents Frozen and Encanto in one exciting family experience. Sing along with Anna and Elsa in wintry Arendelle. And celebrate the power of love, y familia, with Mirabel and Bruno in the show everyone will be talking about, live in your hometown. Now playing at Fiserv Forum this week. Great seats still available. Visit DisneyOnIce.com and get your tickets today.
Don't think twice. Call Geist.
Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geist today. For 70 years, Geist has been the trusted garage door authority in Wisconsin. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget and will even build custom designs to get your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geistdoors.com. That's GEIS doors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield, featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geist.
Come grow with us at Glenroy. For more than 6 decades, our family-owned company has built its reputation on quality, reliability, and providing strong career opportunities in our community. As the packaging industry rapidly grows, so does Glenroy. Here, you'll find competitive wages, a clean, modern workspace, fully vested 401k, yearly bonus award, and the chance to build a manufacturing career with purpose. Apply to com/careers.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
and I have not done a deep dive into the way his season played out, like I did with, say, Nate Hobbs in his final season with the Raiders. Physical. But he did not have the same level of impact. Now, maybe their plan is to move him to middle linebacker and let Quay Walker walk, and that leads to him having a greater impact in that role. But he was a field tilter for them during his rookie season in 2024, and I felt like the first time I really saw him tilting the field in the Packers' favor was in that playoff game in Chicago. And then he got hurt in the third quarter. And then without him, and without Micah Parsons, who was already on injured reserve by then, that's when they gave up 25 points in the fourth quarter. I still believe that they don't give up 25 fourth quarter, doesn't leave in the third quarter, because Edgerrin Cooper, in my opinion, was having his best game of the season. And then it was over. And then the Packers' season was over as well. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and text line. Less is more. Jesse, is everything okay with old T?
Well, I was wondering if something had come up where he had disappeared. If you're seeing it on video, we have a empty chair. He is there. He got up during the commercial break, and then I think he might be having a technical issue on his end. We cannot hear him nor see him, so I'm guessing it could be an internet issue on old T's end.
Well, I know that he also needs to prepare himself, both mentally, physically, his appearance. I don't know what I don't know what. Do you have to dress up for a webinar? Like, he's got his Annex Wealth Management hat on today.
I think part of his character is he is who he is. You know, right? Rumor is he can hear us now. Tausch, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hi.
He's the invisible man, though, because in the video it's an empty chair, which I kind of like. It's kind of spooky and fluky at the same time. Tausch, before we were talking about Edgerrin Cooper, do you think he's got that in him? Because he's definitely not Wayne Simmons.
No, I think he plays with that downhill vibe that you're looking for, and I think he really was coming on, and I heard you guys talking a little bit about the unfortunately he got hurt in that end of that Bear game, and I do think that hurt where the defense was, and we saw how Chicago was able to do some things. That was a big loss, and he is going to be the centerpiece in that middle part of this defense, and I do think he does have that edge about him, and I think that's something that why they brought him in. It's no longer, I think that's one of the things Goody learned from watching the San Franciscos and the Tampa Bays when they won, when they won their championship. It was that middle linebacker isn't just a tackle collector. It's we're going to go make plays. We want them to be playmakers, 4 down guys, and they've went down that road a lot more with how they've evaluated guys, and to be able to leave them out there when they go into their nickel and dime packages, I think is something that they've really focused on. And I think
we will continue to take your thoughts on this. Ron in Rome with a text on the Carbless Talk and text line. Quay Walker had it, but then they behavior modified it out of him. That's interesting because, Tausch, to Ron's point, it's a really good point. At the same time, you also couldn't have him getting kicked out of games. So somewhere you had to find the middle ground.
I would guess that Simmons at some point did. Yes, you can't hurt your football team, but especially doing that late in games. But there is something to be said. coaches will tell you that they can't stand fights at practice during training camp, and that's a complete lie. Now, if it's every other snap and you can't get your work done, they'll get frustrated. But if there's a random Wednesday and things are lagging a little bit, they want that juice brought.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying this is going to happen. And I don't know when the Packers are going to play the Bears. I'll be shocked if it's not going to be the Sunday night game on NBC to open the season. I'll be shocked if that's not when they do it.
How about the opener and the finale?
But it's too long of a lay. I don't think so. But I would be surprised if we wouldn't see some kerfuffle during warm-ups right in the beginning of that football game, because I do think the Green Bay Packers, I think that team sees what happens and where it ain't going to happen again. The way that
I would agree.
Matt LaFleur was disrespected, the way I think just the overall theme and how much media juice is going to be on this, I think this topic and how the Bears approach was more edgy. I just feel like there's going to be, and I don't think it's going to be, I just think there's going to be so much extra juice at that time of the year. I would be surprised if there's not going to be some penalties early in that football game.
Grant in Madison, the whiskey drinker on the sideline needs to be LaFleur. He needs to be more vocal and get after guys and not let off and play conservative second half of games. There's a lot of people that are down on him, man. I don't want, didn't we say that he was too emotional for a while there? Wasn't that part of our critique of him?
Yeah, but it wasn't like I'm going to punch you in the mouth. It was more, I can't believe that call went that way. It was more that tone. It was more, I didn't sense, and part of it is the stereotype. Like that's the way it is. So it's not Mike Ditka having snot bubbles or Buddy Ryan, or that's just not who Matt LaFleur is. But there's definitely, I think, a sense that Packer fans feel that we're not going to be the harder-nosed football team with Matt LaFleur running the operation. It's just, I think that is the vibe. I get how Packer fans feel.
All right, so he did not get fired, right? So he no longer it's not like we can say, well, they got this new head coach. He's a Dan Campbell type. So if Matt LaFleur is still the head coach, then where does it come from a coaching perspective?
It's got to be Bisaccia.
Jeff Hafley didn't really. Jeff Hafley was not Dan Campbell-esque, right? He wasn't gruff and.
By the way, Dan Campbell-esque stuff is great. Green Bay, their two most focused, edgy games that they played were the two games against Detroit.
Right. They, as a famous philosopher, Mark Tauscher, also known as Bob Moore, said they out Dan Campbell. That's what LaFleur did in those games.
And Jason, that's my point on approach and mentality, because you knew after the way last 2 seasons ago went, Detroit were the kings of the North. They were everybody's darling, and everybody's, how Green Bay approached it. Well, they go on 4th down. We don't. Well, that was one of, I would say, probably the most edge and the most amped up I've seen Matt LaFleur's football teams. Now, part of it was it's a home opener. You got Micah Parsons. That was a big component to it. But that Thanksgiving game, their best game of the year, by far.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was, they executed. They were incredibly disciplined and focused, but they played with, we're going to go take this blanking game. We're not going to let the Detroit Lions sneak back in and win it. And that is what we're looking for more of, because if you don't think that the Green Bay Packers, who for years had looked at the Detroit Lions as laughingstocks, they approached it in a certain way of, this team has beaten us. They have taken, they've taken us out to sea and try to drown us, and we're going to do unto them what they've done to us in the past.
Yep.
That's the attitude that you're looking for.
Yep, I would agree. All right, Jesse has a couple of clips that I sent him from my guy Cam at Channel 5 here in Green Bay, who had tweeted them out at the time. Whoa Nelly, which is coming up next. After I tell you about Gruber Law Offices, I tell you about David and their team over there. They're incredibly involved in our communities when they're not winning cases for people that have been injured, whether it was the milk house at the Wisconsin State Fair Park, or whether it's the charity stripe at Badger games. Every time a Badger makes a free throw at the Kohl Center, which Tausch will be there, right, for the big Michigan State tussle. Every free throw that makes a donation from Gruber Law Offices. But again, the most important thing, as great as all that is that they do in the community, is that they win your case when you've been injured, because you need to get what you deserve. And they don't get money unless you do. So go to the website, gruber-law.com, to find out more about all those great things they do in the community. And if you've been injured, make the call. One call, that's all. 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Whoa Nelly and a little bit of Javon Bullard are next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
There's never been a better time to experience Pella in person and get all your questions answered. Join us at the Neri Spring Home Improvement Show, February 13th through the 15th at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Book your in-home consultation at the show and receive a free Design Works rendering. Rest easy with Pella's 10-year limited warranty and get 0% interest for up to 48 months. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
40,000 people. Let that number sink in for a second. That's not a crowd, that's a small city. But they chose relief without surgery. 40,000 people who said stop before replacing their knee or hip. There has to be another way. And they found that at QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Brad Nortman. It's those 40,000 patients who thought that they were out of options and surgery was the only answer. But today, they're moving better, hurting less, and getting their lives back thanks to QC Kinetics and their advanced regenerative treatments. The truth is, surgery isn't always the answer. QC Kinetics and Dr. Ashley Caravelli is right here in Milwaukee, using safe, natural treatments backed by real science. Treatments that activate your body's natural healing powers. Safe, natural, and non-surgical. And this is critical. The sooner you start, the faster the inflammation will ease. So it's important to get started now. 40,000 people can't be wrong. Before you say yes to surgery, call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. Call now at 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. 414-240-2298.
At Ewald Automotive Group, we believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of lower payment, with payments starting under $250 a month. Over 1,400 vehicles backed by our low price guarantee. 1,500 more for your trade. Payments starting under $250. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of lower payments. Based on Kelley Blue Book Fair Trade Value. Applies to 2013 or newer model years. Payment offer on select vehicles with approved credit expires month end.
Wisconsin is still cattle country. And that's why Bunzel's chose to stay close to home to hand select the finest beef. Quality goes into everything they do, from Bunzel's expansive array of meats, homemade specialty sausages, and their award-winning beef jerky. It just isn't a proper holiday meal without Bunzel's top quality cuts on the dinner table. Tasting is believing. Visit Bunzel's at 90th and Burleigh or bunzels.com.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. If 2025 didn't go exactly as planned, you're not alone. You made it through, and that's what counts. Now it's time for taxes, and for a lot of people, that's when the stress kicks in, especially if things got messy along the way. The good news, a rough year doesn't mean a ruined future. We helped Nate fix a tax mess with the IRS caused by one of those national firms and saved him $103,000 in penalties, plus another $152,000 in taxes because we know the tax law. Imagine walking into tax season with a clear plan and someone in your corner who knows the tax law and knows how to use it. You earned it, we help you keep it. Call us now at 414-325-2040 to arrange a meeting to see how we can help you. Don't wait, call now. That's 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
All right, before we get to an abbreviated Whoa Nelly, and before Tausch departs to get ready for his Dr. Brian Jacobson webinar with the good people at Annex Wealth Management, you can still sign up, I'm guessing, if you go to events.annexwealth.com. That's events.annexwealth.com. I want you to hear a couple things that late in the season I heard Javon Bullard say. And my buddy Cam Azir from WFRV happened to tweet both of these out, which are, I think, representative of what I'm trying to express about Javon Bullard. The first one comes from when the Packers had lost 4 in a row. This is from, I believe, the visitors' locker room in Minneapolis heading into the playoff game, and we didn't know who exactly they were going to play just yet. Of course, it ends up being the Bears, and then we know how that went. Here's Javon Bullard on the mentality the Packers had despite their 4-game losing streak heading into the playoffs.
Playoffs, man, we all starting off 0-0. All that record out the window. You know, everybody, we in the dance. That's all we need. We got our foot in the door. And no matter what nobody's record was, but in the regular season, that don't matter now. You know, you're going to have to, we starting off 0-0. You win, you keep going, you lose, you out. So that confidence is instilled in us. We've been had that confidence. Unfortunately, we've been coming up a little short these past few games, but that shit a clean slate now. You know what I mean? Our mind on one thing, and that's to beat the hell out of whoever we playing on the road. So that's what we focused on.
All right, I counted 3 times where Jesse had to drop the S word in there, so you couldn't hear it. But our mind is on one thing, and that is beating the hell out of whoever we're playing on the road. Turned out to be the Bears, and for 3 quarters, they kind of did that. Didn't do it in the 4th quarter. Now, this was after the loss to the Ravens, which we all were very critical of, but no one more so than Javon Bullard, who basically predicted the way the season ended up ending when he said this after giving up 300 rushing yards to Baltimore.
Pretty frustrating. I mean, but at what point do we got to – it's on us, really. I'm going to keep you the buck. So it's on us. We basically just got our ass whooped, call it like it is. I mean, we knew what they were doing. They ran the ball. We couldn't stop the run. Point blank period, and we got to fix that more if we want to go past the wild card game in the playoffs. If we don't, we're going to be sending our ass right back in Green Bay.
Shout out to your guy Cam for helping with the edits there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cam did that for us, so thank you, Cam, for that. Tausch, I know swearing in and of itself does not mean edgy, but that sounded like taking responsibility. That sounded like challenging his teammates and challenging himself. Again, those were moments that I was there for, and I liked what I heard from him. And I think Packers fans should be encouraged. And again, he's a guy that plays that way. He doesn't just talk the talk.
Yeah, I think that's what we're looking for. And now it's about doing it. So I think Javon Bullard is someone that Jeff Hafley viewed very highly. Who, Gannon is going to, I'm sure, look at him in a way like, how can we utilize all of his talents? And whatever they're going to do, making up a different secondary or what changes they're going to make, with this defense under Gannon, I'm guessing Bullard is going to be a key piece, utilizing him in different ways to make this defense more multiple. And that attitude that he has, we need more of.
All right. We're going to let you get ready for your webinar. Jesse and I will close up shop next. Any parting words of wisdom before you and Brian Jacobson give valuable advice about investing?
No, R.I.P. to Mox. That's where my head's at. R.I.P. to Johnny Mox.
Well, you do him proud with your webinar as you discuss investing with Dr. Brian
Say
Jacobson.
hi to the doctor for us.
Got it. You guys got it.
We'll wrap things up, Jesse and I, next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
A Road at Night is a documentary chronicling former Badgers player and coach Howard Moore and the 2019 tragedy that forever changed his family. You can see it on the big screen at Marcus Point Cinema in Madison, February 13th through the 19th, with exclusive post-screening panels during the opening weekend. A Road at Night, February 13th through 19th at Marcus Point Cinema in Madison. All proceeds support Howard Moore's ongoing care. Find showtimes and get tickets right now at aroadatnight.com.
This President's Day, stand up for comfort and real savings at Steinhafels. Celebrate with big deals store-wide. Get $50 off every $4.99 you spend. Save on sofas, sectionals, dining, bedrooms, and mattresses, plus amazing doorbusters. Make your dream room more affordable with no interest financing until 2031 when you spend $19.99 or more. Plus, get a $200 MasterCard. Hurry, shop in-store or online at steinhafels.com.
Horicon Bank has helped Wisconsin businesses grow, doing banking differently since 1896. Homer here from ESPN Milwaukee. If you're a local business, that same local approach is part of the Milwaukee business community, bringing decisions closer to you. Financing approved in days, not weeks. Bankers who understand your business. Products built for real cash flow needs. When it comes to commercial lending, Horicon Bank gets the job done. Together, doing well for 130 years.
February means big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Upgrade your home with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, new siding, or a beautiful bath makeover and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings, but only for a limited time during our February winter savings event. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com now. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
It's a great time to win the ultimate Valentine's Day prize, courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist. To register, go to welkesdatenight.com or the ESPN Wisconsin app and click on the contest page for your chance to win a bouquet of flowers, candles, chocolates, rose petals, a $100 gift card to Bartolotta Restaurants. You can also win a Milwaukee basketball game where they take on Toronto on February 22nd. Register to win this Valentine's Day, courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist through February 12th. Go to welkesdatenight.com or the ESPN Wisconsin app.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
We are, as usual, out of time as we keep a chair open for Moxie and Tauschie. James Vanderbeek, R.I.P. Tausch, good luck in your webinar.
You think Brian Jacobson, Dr. Brian Jacobson, you think he wanted Tausch back for this, or do you think he's like, oh man, I got to do this again with this guy?
I got to be honest with you. Given the way today's kind of mood was and with the sadness of James Vanderbeek's passing, there is no way I am answering that question. So, and you shouldn't consider it either, because tomorrow I am going to be out. We've got gymnastics meet. Girls are missing school for it. It's a whole thing, and I'm going to miss the show. So I will try to join if it works out tomorrow, a little bit later in the program. If not, I know you've got things handled, Jelly. Thanks to everybody who came along for the ride with us today and all the engagement on our topics. We will do it again tomorrow, even without me. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on the ESPN Wisconsin app.
If you're into muskie fishing, the Muskie Expo is the place to be this coming weekend, the 13th through the 15th, where you'll find an excellent assortment of everything muskies held at the